After 92 days, the two teams finished for the first time in the top with 100 points after Leeds pipped Burnley on the last day of the season, and then we joined on the wonderful day on the playoff final where Sunderland beat Sheffield United, who are the promotion, who finally got promoted to the Premier League after being away for nearly over 6 years away. But we got some stuff to talk about. We got some new teams that have dropped down, the usual suspects, and that teams have come up as well. We'll talk about can Birmingham City and Wrexham either do a promotion double. We'll see back to back promotions. That's gonna be interesting. And who is gonna be favourites to go up as well as going down? Welcome to the Championship EFL Championship season preview. Yes, this is my first live show, probably about 2 months ago. So more than 2 months and 2.5 months ago. So I am going to be a little bit rusty, but I'm glad to be back after having a good long break. And hopefully you guys had a good summer as well too. Like I said, we've got some loads of stuff to talk about the preview of the EFL Championship, which starts this Friday this week coming up as well. We've got some big games we'll talk about as well. We're also going to have some guests during the course of the season as well. We'll talk about our predictions and some of the clubs that are being come up from the League One, as well as the teams that got relegated in the Premier League. But also we'll talk about certain new managers that have joined certain clubs as well. And we'll talk about what's been going on, especially what's happened at Sheffield Wednesday situation. Are they able to fulfill their fixtures? Time will tell. But in the messages, we'll say good evening to Nathan. Nathan, I hope you're well too. I said, you lucky you guys got a good win yesterday against Peterborough yesterday. So hopefully you can get the club sold and hopefully you watch us during the course of the season. But let's bring out the usual suspects. And as for the first time, both of us can be neutral for the first time if our clubs get promoted. So it'll be more easier for us to try to be on a level playing field and not talk about clubs as much as well. Joining me, he came last week over just not too long ago to see me and my friend Doug to go watch the Sunderland away against Hearts with the great God testimonial. Is Michael Barres. Good evening, Michael.
Good evening, Carl. How are you doing?
I am good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. We'll just ignore the 3-0 scoreline last week. We'll just pretend that never happened. But it
Well,
was it was the day out though. It was lovely. It was lovely seeing you both actually, and it was nice to visit Edinburgh again. I forgot how nice a place it is. And yeah, if only it was only 6 years we were out of the Premier League. By the way, it was 8, unfortunately, because we had to rot
that's
in.
long. I did say it was more than 6 years. I can't
Yeah, I
think
was going to say,
actually.
if only it was 6 in the end. We had to waste 4 of those years in the, well, as Reece calls clubs stripper clubs, I'll just call League One a stripper league because that's what it honestly felt like when we were in it. So, but yeah, no, it's good to be back, and as you said, it's going to be nice for us both to be neutrals on this, and therefore it's going to be more fun. Weirdly, I think.
It will be more fun this year. It will be more fun for us as well. And join us. You'll be part of this again this season with myself on this channel, which is really good. And also we got one two other guests join us. And also this is my good close friend. He's the host of he's the owner of the Dugout Football Channel. It's Douglas Holmes. So Doug, you're finally going
There's
to
the
join us
boy.
for most of this season on the Championship Review as well. So welcome.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. I'm absolutely buzzing for this championship season. I think it's going to be another fascinating season ahead. But no, thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much for the invite. And yeah, I will try my best to be on these shows as much as I can because I'm obviously covering the championship over my channel as well. So, but no, thank you very much for having me, and it was a pleasure.
Absolutely, Doug. Absolutely, good to have you on. And also, we got one more. He actually listen. There's no introduction need for him. He is one of the best. He's not just doing his stuff on football, but he does his stuff on WWE, AEW, all the wrestling content as well. But we know he's a big Rangers and a Man United fan. But I say he's always been a huge guest on our channel, and he's going to be joining us for this course of the season as well. And Reece, Russell Reece, good to see you, mate.
What's up, everybody? It's a pleasure having on. Everyone knows religiously I don't watch Championship football, but I'll make an effort. There's only a few stripper clubs in this league, so I don't need to see them all get stripped down, but at least I can see a few get stripped up. So we can certainly have some fun. I've also put in the live chat. Spurs have officially confirmed the signing of Palhinha with a loan with an option to buy to the end of the season. So that's now just been confirmed. So thought I would put that in there for everybody as well. If you're unfortunately a Tottenham fan, well, I can't really say unfortunate because he's actually a good player, jammy bastards. But yeah, it's good. It's good to be on. Thanks for having me, and happy to put certain phrases in people's heads rent free. There's plenty more where that came from, and I appreciate the kind words, Carl. Thank you. That means a lot. Like, so much content. I'm 9 away, I think, from 400 subscribers now on the Steel Chair. So I'm absolutely tearing shit up on that. So doing really well, and it's a day off on my channel, so I'm actually even more happy. So I'm back on it tomorrow. So thanks for having me.
Can I just point out that you only been on about probably less than 10 seconds, and you already mentioned the phrase stripper clubs.
Yeah.
That must be like, is that like a record for Reece? Is the quickest? He's just straight in there. Don't pull any punches. Don't build anyone up. Just go straight in with it. But to be fair, he did say that he wanted us to win the playoff final because he thought Sheffield United's definition of stripper club. So Reece, very happy to oblige there for you.
We should have had like a bingo minute to basically predict when he was actually going to say that. We didn't, and I feel.
Just put a bet on it. How many times is he going to use the phrase stripper club in this video?
I will say 14.
I'll say 24. I'm going to go right out for it.
24.
Yeah, just a random number. Yeah, the amount of teams in the championship, there you go, 24.
We'll see. I'm not counting how many go full stripper, but we'll certainly see. Obviously, there's some people in the chat that do know me, obviously, from other content and obviously football across the world. Obviously, I'm a very avid watcher of football. Love my football. So you're going to get a lot from me. Nathan, this one's to you because I know you're in the chat. You'll like where I have Swansea in the league. That's all I'm going to say.
I bet he will. Do you know one last thing? You know, one of those. This is relevant, I promise. You know that little dating thing, like on Facebook, where you swipe left if you're interested and swipe right if you're not. So I can imagine like Reece is just sitting there with a club above him and goes, "Stripper club, not a stripper club. Stripper club, not a stripper club." Just go, stripper club, not a stripper club, not a stripper club, stripper club.
Well, I know we're all in a group chat, and I know this might get clipped and sent to him, or he'll just watch this. But I hate to say it, but if you look at the league, I'm sorry, Ant, but your club in Southampton, and to be fair, I do have a little soft spot for Southampton for how they used to play football. Leicester City and Southampton are in the stripper club section. I've got to be honest; they go up and down now like Norwich City. So officially, they are in the stripper club section for me. They've got to prove a way out of it, and we've seen that Norwich City do not know how to keep their clothes on. So it's going to be hard for you to stop being a stripper club.
Yeah.
What a good time for Ant. Right, so you're the new Norwich City FC. Brilliant.
Something like that.
What a time to be alive.
Well, put it this way, Reece. Nathan did put you.
There we go, Nathan.
So, yeah.
I will face my crown.
Do you know the worst thing is now? If you're out in town anywhere and say there is a strip club, I'm going to be thinking, Reece, for God's sake.
I mean, I have been. I can proudly say I've been to one when I went to Hungary several years ago. I went to Budapest and I had the pleasure of being in one. So there you go.
Fair enough.
Absolutely, as well. Absolutely. Listen, on my channel, we've only got really about 6 away from getting up to 100 subscribers. So please, everyone, like and share and subscribe to this channel during the course of the season as well. So I am doing a lot more content as well this season as well. As expected, the Saturday show will be back on in less than after next weekend. We'll be back on with the Premier League when the Premier League starts. And then myself and Doug, I'll be doing a new content of a Premier League review, which we will reveal the name at the end of the show. So don't worry about that. We do need to get some graphics sorted out, get some graphics and stuff sorted out, Doug. But this is our joint thing we're going to do together for match review of the Premier League, probably Mondays and Tuesdays.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for the.
I know.
I can't wait for it.
I know. Put in the chat. I don't mean to like echoing, but there is a little echo just to let you guys know. I don't know what it is, but just in case you're like, whatever that is, I don't know.
I'm
So I thought
okay. Anyone
I'm
else?
all right. I can't hear anything. Like it's in
it's because I can hear someone's actual like I can hear it's like
I know
YouTube
where it's
coming
coming
through.
from. It's the background noise. So either it is an incident outside my flat that's just happened. So I don't know what's going on because I'm looking at my Google doorbell camera and there's a lot of fighting. I don't know if there's fight going. I can just look at it live right now. That's why I can hear this noise. So
You
it's not.
know, you know what it is. It's people thinking you're in Glasgow because they're trying to get on the Spider-Man set. The roads are closed. You cannot get in here, and I don't understand that. Why would you turn Glasgow into New York City? That makes no
Yes,
sense.
that's like 60 roads or something closed
Yeah.
in Glasgow.
well, I'll say
But yeah,
60 roads, yeah, 60 roads in Glasgow are shut for the Spider-Man brand new day filming, which is odd.
aye. But as obviously Carl was saying, yeah, we do have a new name for this new panel show, and it will all be revealed.
so that's an incentive to stay watching. Well, funny enough, quickly while Carl's waiting, obviously Spider-Man Brand New Day is getting filmed in Glasgow. Do you know, funny enough, in the northeast of England, a bit of Avengers Endgame was filmed in Durham Cathedral, I think, for anyone who is into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
Yeah.
I mean, you had obviously Waverley Station was filmed as well from one of the fight
Yeah,
scenes
it
as
was,
well.
yeah.
So like
That was for Infinity War, wasn't it?
that's right, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It's
fair
like,
enough.
to be
then.
fair, it's like this is what people don't understand. Like how, yes, it's annoying if you're like in a hurry or a rush that you need to get places, but like the views you get in like Scotland or even like the northeast of England, the views you get to actually film anything is spectacular. Like you get some variety of good views. Obviously not South Wales, but you do get some good options. Or if you want to just escape Newport.
I'm sure Nathan will appreciate that.
He
Newport,
will.
the Welsh Stripper Club.
Oh, honestly, Nathan knows. Like Nathan knows how relieved I was to get out of Newport after being on the train, in, out, celebrating. I was like, "Get me out of this place."
Celebrating getting out of Newport.
It's nothing against the football team. It's just I didn't like the view. I was like, "Just get me out of here."
Yeah, absolutely as well. Right, let's start off with certain stuff as well. Let's kick off with the relegated teams that dropped down. Like I said, Leicester, along with Ipswich and Southampton, were the teams that got promoted last season. The season before, they're now back down in the Championship. And I probably would start off with Ipswich Town, actually, guys. And come to think of it, looking at their transfer window, they've lost Liam Delap to Chelsea, which was inevitable that was going to happen as well. But they have brought some, losing Massimo Lungo's gone on the free transfer to Millwall. Burnley, signed Alza Tanabe. Cameron Burgess has gone to Swansea. Max Harris has gone to Huddersfield. Sam Morsey was released. While the players who were returned back to their parent clubs, such as Ben Godfrey, Calvin Phillips, and Julian Sensio. But they have brought some players in. They have signed also Mutswana from Rennes for under around about £10 million. Ash Yo's is now at the age of 40. He came on a free, while David Button, whose faces came for around about 50,000 under £50,000 from Reading. Guys, listen, we know Ipswich did back-to-back promotions, like last season, the season before, and they were fortunate because they bought a lot of championship players last season. They knew they were never going to get relegated. Kieran McKenna could have left this summer. He was linked to some number of clubs such as Spurs and Brentford. He has decided to stay. I'll come to you first, Michael. Is this team good enough to get back up to the Premier League?
Obviously, football isn't played on paper, but on paper it should be. Really, when you stop and think about it. I mean, I'm looking at Ipswich's squad. I mean, if you look at for example, they signed Cedric Keatray on loan. Now, for context, I think Sunderland were linked with him, I think, earlier in the window. So for a player who was linked with a newly promoted Prem club, but Ipswich have managed to get him. So on paper, that should be a good bit of business. Obviously, Sam Morsey, I believe, was their captain for quite a long time, wasn't he? So that's going to be obviously, that's a big character to replace. And obviously, Liam Delap going to Chelsea. There's talk of Amari Hutchinson potentially going to Brentford. So obviously, watch this space with that one. But when you look at some of the squad, like I was of the big believer that when Ipswich went up 2 years ago, McKenna easily deserved manager of the season because Ipswich's squad shouldn't really have finished above Leeds and Southampton for me. But that's how good a job they did getting second, especially when the quality 2 years ago at the top, when the top four was insanely good, like freakishly level good. So, but now if you look at the squad, just off the top of my head, so obviously Keepway's been signed, but when you list some of the players that I'm going to list here, like they should be competing for automatics at the very least for me, or at the very minimum to get promoted. So you got like of Jaden Philogene, Jack Clark, Sammy Smodics, Jacob Greaves, Dara O'Shea, Muric, who is signed from Burnley as well. When you really stop and look at that squad, obviously there's more to it than that. Leif Davis, I believe, is still there. So if you're looking at that as a squad, and particularly Kieran McKenna's still there, then I think you should be looking at a minimum of comfortable top four. Probably even I would argue say minimum top two, because there's obviously Southampton have got a fair few question marks at the moment for me. Leicester have obviously got a 9-point deduction, I believe, possibly happening. So this is a big opportunity for Ipswich. Now, obviously the biggest asset for me is Kieran McKenna. Now, if they keep at the minute, I don't see any reason why they should lose him. But as we know, football can quickly change like that. So if Kieran McKenna stays, I think Ipswich are the pick to win the division for me. Now, the biggest question mark I'd have, I suppose, in that sense is, probably one of the reasons that I think they would have thrived so much when the year they went up was that they weren't expected to do so. I know there were a lot of people tipping them to do well, but I mean, like, finishing above two of the relegated teams that year, which I don't think many people would have been, at the start of the season, certainly would have been hanging their hat on for that. This time, there's obviously expectation on their shoulder. But on the other hand, Kieran McKenna's it's not like a new situation to him. If you look when Ipswich were in League One, for example, like, Ipswich rightly then would have been expected to be right at the top of the division and getting promoted, and they ended up finishing second then as well. So it'd be quite funny to finish second this year, because then it means every year Kieran McKenna's got promoted, he's finished second every single time. So just quite runners up, never quite winning the league. But I think if you offered second to Ipswich, they fans, I would imagine that most of them would take it. So, but I'm really liking the look of it. The one thing from a pure selfish Sunderland point of view, it did kill me that Jack Clark wasn't being used properly by Ipswich. Now, as in the Premier League. Now, obviously, there's the caveat that he might not be good enough for the Premier League. I stand by to this day, Jack Clark in the Championship should be a cheat code. Jack Clark in the Championship, not just him. Like, their team should be full of cheat codes when you really look at their squad. But if you get the use out of Jack Clark, if you get the use out of Jaden Philogene, Sammy Smodics, who season before last was the top goal scorer for a team that was in Blackburn, that was at that point rocked right down the bottom and needed to win on the final day to stay up. Jacob Greaves, Dara O'Shea, two of the best performers in recent times at their respective when they've been in the Championship. Obviously, the same Muric from Burnley, I believe, a year ago, who still should be rated enough. So I'm a... Sorry, Anne's comments just made us laugh. But anyway, no, it's a prediction. It's a spoiler. We are pissing the league. Are you an Ipswich fan, Ant?
Ooh.
Yeah. To be fair, Ant's all right. Yeah, he's used to. To be fair, I could have insulted him with worse.
I kind of did.
Well, yeah, you outright did. Not kind of, you outright did. But yeah. So either way, I'm gonna. One of the best things about of Leicester. Well, one of the funny things about Leicester being back in the Championship is going to see how many people Ant can piss off in one season. Commentary, but yeah, we'll go with that one. No, I've seen trophies. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, so to answer your question, Carl, yes, I think Ipswich should be looking to bounce straight back. I know, obviously, recently we've had Luton, well, effectively be the latest team. I mean, Sunderland are no longer the last team to do this, but back-to-back relegations from the Premier League One. But let's get real. That Luton squad, for me, it was shocking that it was anywhere near the conversation to get relegation. So for it to be in that conversation, something must have been fundamentally really wrong and damaging behind the scenes. I don't get that impression with Ipswich, but famous last words. I might be eating me words in a month's time. We'll see how this starts. But I think they will be right up there.
Doug, do you see any bit of weakness in that Ipswich Town squad that can really try to challenge again to try to get back to the Premier League next season? Do you echo what Michael has said?
Yeah, I think what Michael said is absolutely spot on. I think they were for me the best team who came up last season. I think when we look at the positions that they actually finished in, and yes, I know Leicester finished above Ipswich, but if I'm being honest, I looked at Ipswich last season, I seen a plan there. I seen a plan with what McKenna wanted to do. Leicester I did not see any plan whatsoever. It was literally very, very quick to appoint Steve Cooper or like nobody else, and then obviously Ruud van Nistelrooy came in, which was an absolute disaster. But I think the thing that really separates the other two between themselves and Ipswich is I think Ipswich have a really good plan, and I think when you look at what they have done in this transfer window so far, they have bought really well, I think, so far. Yes, a bit of a blow, obviously not getting Hayden Hackney. I don't know what's happening there. I think he's maybe having a rethink about that. But Sammy Smodic, for me, he showed signs in the Premier League that he can score goals. So as Michael says, he is a cheat code in this league. Jack Clark, I absolutely agree with what Michael said as well. I think he's a cheat code as well, and I think that the one thing that could really hurt them is this sort of expansive style of football. Sometimes they got a little bit, what's the word? They got a little bit lucky. Got a little bit lucky in some of the games that I watched. And obviously they did get their fair share of beatings, but wasn't too many. Wasn't too many beatings that they got. But I look through that squad, and I think Jacob Greaves is a really good defender. And I watched him at Hull. I think he's a really good player as well. So I think out of the three that have come down, I think that Ipswich are the more prepared. I think they have definitely got the squad to be fighting for the automatics. And it kind of depends as well when this sort of points deduction comes for Leicester, and obviously Southampton, will still is an interesting appointment. I'll give you that. But Southampton cannot be as worse as they were last season because that was an absolute embarrassment. 12 points all season, the second lowest points total in Premier League history, and now we basically got them now back back in the championship. But I'm looking forward to it. Birmingham Ipswich, the first game of the season, absolutely incredible game that's going to be. And then obviously you've got Southampton, Wrexham, I think on either the Sunday or the Monday. I'm so excited for this season. I just cannot wait until it starts.
Yeah, absolutely as
Can I
well.
just quickly add on something that Carl said, and I don't know what you do. Sorry, Carl, Doug said, and I'll be interested in what Carl and Reece think of this as well. I think it kind of felt I was watching. I think it was the second tier pod, but Kieran Maguire was on it. So Kieran Maguire is obviously the football finance expert and everything else, and he said something that I kind of agree with, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think Ipswich's recruitment last summer was kind of half an eye on the championship the year afterwards. So they kind of looked at it and went,
Mm-hmm.
"Yes, we want to stay up. We're obviously going to try to stay up, but we're expecting realistically to go down. So let's recruit the squad that will give us the best chance of bouncing straight back up the year afterwards." I don't know if that's me being a conspiracy theorist, but I think there is something in that. But I don't know what you guys think.
Reece.
No, I think you've got kind of I think you've got kind of a point. I think it's some of the signings that they definitely made last season. You could probably argue that were probably sort of championship sort of based players.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
But no, look, I think they're going to be a really good team to watch, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
Enjoy your beer, Ant. Enjoy
Yeah, I
your
was going
beer.
to say. Yeah, I'm sure he will be.
Reece, what do you expect from Ipswich this season? Do you expect roughly they will still play more expensive football, or do you think Kieran McKay will know what to do to try to adapt to every single fixture for the next 9 months or so?
I don't think they're necessarily going to need to do a lot of changes. It's already a team that's very familiar to the league, and it's a team that's already aware of how to get out of the league as well. I think if you're out of the league for so long, the familiarity becomes an issue. So the fact that it was only one season away does help them because that will then allow them to go and back into the league and then try and stay in the Premier League longer. I think it's about managing expectations, but also not just being adaptive, but proactive as well, like forcing it to be adaptive to yourself. My only concern though for Ipswich is if they continue to make the same sort of signings, they're going to become a club that will continuously go through the pace of like up and down, rather than a team that'll actually just stick in and actually force themselves into the conversation of staying in the league and trying to progress. Like, if they want to be like a Bournemouth, for example, or if they want to be a Crystal Palace, or just those two, for example, best case scenarios. If you want to be that sort of club, you need to realistically start thinking, well, it's not just about getting out of the Championship and getting into the Premier League, but it's, we want to aim for, say 16th, 15th, 16th as an expectation if they get back to the Premier League. Once you get 15th and 16th, if you're aiming for that, the best case scenario is 13th to 15th. A little bit of graduation each time, and then you'll see stick in the league. If you don't do that, then you're going to go straight back down. So for me, their aim is quite simple. You play the same style of football that you've already got, that won the Championship anyway. They got you promoted, I should say. Get up that manner, get straight back into the conversation, and then the minute the season is over, if they get promoted, I think they will. The minute the season's over, you go straight on the recruitment path, because if they waste time, they will fall behind. So that really is, like, for me, the most important thing is clubs that need to be very proactive in how they will stay in the league, rather than just being adaptive and reactive. You need to take action and the initiative to actually force yourself in the conversation. So I think if Ipswich don't win the Championship, they'll at least finish second. I don't think they're finishing below top two at all.
Me neither.
Yeah.
No.
I think if they do finish below top two, truth be told, I would consider that a failure. Like, even if they finish third, even if they finish third and get promoted through winning the playoffs, I'm still calling that a failure of a season, because they should not be like in Sheffield. They were not worse than Leicester, and they were definitely not worse than Southampton. Those two teams were far worse than Ipswich last season. They were shocking. So if Ipswich finish below either of those two, it's a failure.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting discussion we have during the course of the season. Nathan did put something in a bit earlier on as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he talked about Luton and Plymouth yesterday, they looked dreadful on the weekend, which they have been actually. You know, there's no way it just will be remotely close to being that bad. I don't think it will be that bad. There's no doubt about it as well. So
Yeah,
for fact, and he's a good fun Reece. There's a fun fact for you.
that's a true fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again though, his club also got relegated. My club haven't, so
Yeah.
that's
that's not the point.
I will point out, to be fair, for Man United, that should not be a conversation. Like, well,
I'm not even going to celebrate it, but I'm just saying, like, his club got
I know what
relegated.
you mean, but it's like, well, at least we didn't get relegated, you know. Like,
Trust
Man United
me,
and relegated.
trust me, the way we were playing, we should have been the way we were playing. But like,
you know what,
the way we were playing, I'm not even going to hold it to that. You know what I mean? Like, we were shite.
I just more mean that's like saying Liverpool should celebrate not
But then again,
18th and being 17th instead.
Yeah, I will say this though, they have recently won the Premier League, and it was a good season for them. They won the Premier League. That same season they won the league, we won a European trophy. So shove that right up your arse.
You know what? We will talk about Leicester.
To be fair, I love Ant. Ant always gives it back. I always dish it back to him. Me and Ant are on that, so it's always good between me and Ant.
Yeah, it is. Right, you need to see what he's like when Leicester play Coventry.
Yes.
Oh, I don't need to worry about that. I already know. I
already
know.
You'll see a good example of it. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm. Oh hell yeah, man! But I think, see, when you look at the three relegated teams, though, yes, it's true. Leicester did finish above Ipswich, but when you look at how the season was ending, Leicester were very fortunate to finish above them. They were very fortunate, and I think Ant will agree. Like, they shouldn't have done, but they were fortunate. But the whole gap of the team. One thing I will say, and I'm very, very eager to see how Leicester do without Vardy as the main nine in a league campaign instead of pre-season. I'm eager to see how they move on without him, because it is a big loss. Obviously, he is getting older. Obviously, you have to move on from certain players, but I am very eager to see how they go on without him. Like that's one I'm eager to see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We will talk about Leicester shortly. I wanted to go and move to Southampton. They brought in a new manager, Will Still, and I'm gonna ask you guys all this.
He's still traveling.
Yeah, I know he's still traveling. Will still be the championship manager by come the end of the season?
I think so.
Well, it's a fair question though, 'cause it's like asking, well, will still be in Lens, or will still be travelling to Southampton, and will still adapt to the Championship? Will he have the will to
Or
do it still?
or will still trying to be aiming to still be in a job and then still claim that he's English.
Doug's reaction says it all. It's like, there's you go. There's
Because
how many times
what
can
if?
you fit, Kevin, how many times can you fit the word will and still into a single sentence without
Because what
sounding
if?
gibberish?
Because what if Will still claims at the end of the season that Will is still aiming to not be English, but Will still declares that he's now Scottish, and then Will still actually gets revoked of Scottish nationality, and he's now claimed Will still is now fake French.
I think
Okay,
people forget.
Let me just get
I
one
think people
last
are
thing in.
forgetting I'm the dad here. So I should be
Yeah,
really
no.
saying that line.
I have just made it sound relative.
Well, let me just get one last dig in. Will still be regretting turning down the Sunderland job, a huge job, to go to Lens for European football? Oh wait, they got knocked out in the Europa Conference qualifiers. So will still be regretting that, or will still think he's a moron?
Now,
Hey.
Will still be aiming to will keep his name by the end of the season when Will is aiming to improve the style of play.
How many times do you think Will Stills had to put up with that growing up? Like,
I am dominating this. I'm
hilarious.
proud.
This, like,
I am fucking proud. And Nathan, we actually spoke about Russell Martin before we went live, and we all agreed that the midfield was good, but the attack was shocking. Apart from Gassama, he's a baller.
do you know who I think would have been celebrating when Motherwell scored yesterday? And I think Carl will know exactly who I'm going to say here.
Any Celtic fan?
No, from that there, but not who you'd expect. His name, he goes by the name of Annie Harris, who supports Bristol City,
Yeah,
who has had a big, deep hatred for Russell Martin ever in the last couple of seasons.
Yeah,
I don't blame him. I don't understand Russell Martin at all. Like, I get it. Like, the guy loves possession football.
Oh,
Like,
God.
like he
There
loves.
we go.
Like,
We
he,
got someone else.
he's
Can I just ask one before Ant does speak? Guys, I want to ask Carl a question, see what he thinks. Who do you think hates who more? Does Annie hate
I
Russell Martin more, or do you think I hate Chris Wilder more?
I think the easiest question is I just hate stripper clubs.
I think you hate Chris Wilder more.
That's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, because I think Russell Martin, despite what he thinks, is not a twat, and I think that doesn't think he is. I'm not going to go along that. Let's just say he's a stripper Yorkshireman. But there you go.
But for me, it's purely I am Will still aiming to say that I am the king
There
of
you go
let
again.
alone the stripper club. So I am Will still aiming to improve on the stripper club mentality of bottling them and relegating them even further. So Will still is not going to be in a job when Will still is a stripper at the end of the season.
Do you know what I think, right? I think Ant's going to hate this when like Leicester are playing Southampton. He's going to get in the group chat. It's going to be Reece having Will still jokes all over the place all season.
Aye, but then that's why Ant loves me because Ant knows I just give it good.
He's got
Yeah.
a point. He's got a point.
And then and then Will still is not going to get someone like Will still aiming to sign someone like N'Golo Kante, but he can't Will still get a world class player in his midfield.
Are we gonna do this for the whole of the show?
Yeah.
Like in a loop, like in a loop or something.
Right,
Yeah.
Nathan, this is for you. Get yourself a shot every time Reece goes down the line,
Yeah.
or will still sentence, and see how pissed you are by the end. We take no, or Ant can do the same. Yeah, we can take no responsibility for how drunk these men will get.
Yes. And
He's got a point.
You're welcome.
Right, I'm going to go and get a shot glass from next door, and if it ends badly, this is your fault.
all I'm going to say is if you are watching and you're under the age of, for the UK it's 16. If you are under the age of 16, don't watch this show because alcoholism may be inflicted on you by the end of this stream.
Yeah.
So moving swiftly on.
I'm putting out there, alcoholism could happen if I will still say that you're going to drink.
Moving swiftly on.
Yeah. Thank you.
Use the name Will Still responsibly.
That's a good one. If only it wasn't Sunday. If only it wasn't Sunday. That's a good point.
We're 35 minutes into the show. We spent pretty much more than 5 minutes on
On just the phrase of will still.
yeah.
The shot glasses are in the. They are in the dishwasher, so they're going to be drinking whiskey out of a wine glass.
Wine
Well,
glass.
okay.
Where's your shot glass?
Yes,
Well,
they
I'll
got
tell you
one.
what then. So to move on a bit, right? Because we obviously had the debates about Leicester and Ipswich and who finished above who won. What is certain is that both clubs were significantly better than Southampton, who decided to try and have a good go at breaking Derby's points record in the Premier League. Which is actually, I think it got embarrassing when I think the Southampton fans, in a bit of gallows humour, kind of went, "Yay, we haven't been the worst team ever in Premier League history."
Second
So
worst
yeah,
team.
I'm going to be yeah. I think I don't know what you guys. I think the big question. I think what Nathan's put there. The hardest thing for Saints will be to break that losing mentality and move away from that fraud at Rangers style of play. Is it just people in Wales, near Wales or in Wales that just hate Russell Martin? I swear to God. But
It's because he's got facial hair and they're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
actually, yeah, I've just realised why Nathan will hate him. Fair enough, Swansea. I get that. But anyway, yeah, fair enough then. But yeah, I mean, Will still is a funny one, but without Reece trying to say his name 1,000 times in about 5 minutes. I'm interested to see how he adapts to English football, because it's been on the fringes for a while of him leaving League One, isn't there?
Yeah.
And now that he's finally done, but at the same time, he's going to be coming into a league where there's expectation on it, like real expectation on his shoulders. I'm not saying there wasn't at like Reims or Lens or anything like that, but there would. But I think Will still will realise just how cutthroat the Championship is. I know we make a lot about how cutthroat the Prem is, but the Championship in its own right is still a ruthless division, because it's relentless, as Carl and Ant and all that and me will know. It's relentless. It's like Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, or Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, or whatever it is. And then obviously the Christmas period's hectic and everything else. But I tell you the bit I do like about Southampton is I do like their front three. Their front three should be quality at this level. When you look at Cameron, if they all stay, obviously Cameron Archer, Adam Armstrong, Ben Brent, and Diaz just off the top of them. I think Flynn Downs in midfield, I really do like at Championship level. Harwood Bellis obviously is still there. Is he going to be at the end of the window? Don't know. Obviously, I think Aaron Ramsdale's just joined them lot of the. Aaron Ramsdale.
Relegation confirmed for the Geordie barcode machines. Like, we can celebrate that at the end of the season.
Reece, as long as we're not with them, then that's fine. But
you will be fine. There's rumours as well, so I don't mean to cut you there, Michael. There's also rumours that Joe Rebo might be coming back up to Scotland as well. That was actually going through. The Rangers were actually trying to bring him back as well. He's a good player, Joe Rebo. Like, he's one that like Rangers should never have sold, but like he hasn't worked out at Southampton. But what I will say though, Will still does play a high pressing style of football. I've watched some highlights of his play in France. This might save his Southampton career, because in a possession based team, and Doug will agree, and Carl, you agree as well, when he played under Giovanni van Bronckhorst, Jesus Christ, he did not cope as much in the league in possession, but in Europe it was more counter pressing and direct play. It suited him. If he plays that in the Championship with Southampton, he will do really well. But if it's a possession style of team, Joe Rebo, he fails. He's like Aaron Ramsey trying to score a fucking penalty when it matters the most. He bottles it. Just truth be told, I have to keep that one in my head, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Southampton made some signings to sign Damien Downs from FC Cologne. Joshua Kwanzi's come from Hoffenheim as well. Owens, Kadi Suleiman has gone. Jan Bennett has gone to Porto. Ramsdale's gone to Newcastle loan. Kyle Walker-Peters left on a free transfer to West Ham. Juan Larios is at Leonza in Spain. Adam Lallana's retired. It's a bit of it's going to be quite interesting for Southampton how to do this time, because the season before they started off decently well. They went on that unbeaten run for quite long. Then they lost a little bit. They found the form before the playoff final against us and the 1-1-0. Do you think they have to make everything? I'm like open to all of you. Do you think they have to now not play too expansive like they did under Russell Martin? They stuck with the same core, which became the second worst team ever in the Premier League with a low number of points, along with Derby. They got 12. So, can Will still make it? can he really succeed of getting Southampton in his first season?
I think
Well,
he
get some
could.
wins. Get
Yeah.
some wins.
Yeah,
That's the
most
first
important.
thing. Because that Southampton side last season was underprepared. It just wasn't ready for Premier League football.
Hmm.
I was amazed they beat you guys in the final. I'll be honest. I was very very shocked when they did. I think the one thing you can say about Southampton last season, it's so it wasn't sort of an effort like an active effort for trying, but what you could see is they didn't even have like a plan to like when obviously Russell Martin gone.
Yeah.
I mean, Brennan Gerbich was a shocker, an absolute shocker. How the heck he's managed to get the Atalanta job when when basically he's probably one of the worst managers I've ever seen in Premier League history. Um, and a Robert De Niro lookalike. Let's be honest. Um, yeah, it's no Southampton just need a big improvement for me. Yeah, obviously starting by winning matches for sure, but
Yeah.
um, I
Is it
think Southampton for me they will be there or thereabouts for automatics. I think may even be potentially a team that maybe says enough's enough. We might get sort of the the playoffs. But I think if you've got like a front three of Cameron Archer, Adam Armstrong, and Ben Brereton Diaz, look, obviously we don't know where Ben Brereton Diaz is going to be playing, but that should score goals for you. And obviously you got Flynn Downs in midfield as well.
He's a good player. I quite like him actually.
He's a cracking wee player. I was surprised, sort of like West Ham let him go.
Yeah.
But I think when you look at Southampton, they just need a vast improvement
I agree.
from
No,
last season because that was an absolute disgrace on all fronts for
yeah.
Southampton, for their fans and boardroom level as well.
I actually because obviously I put in the private chat about asking to share screen. I actually have their first 7 league games. To be honest, when you look at them, some of them are favourable fixtures, but even when you look at how the league starts, like you go like Wrexham start of the season, we don't know how they're going to fare in their first championship season in so bloody long. You've got Ipswich away after the cup game against Northampton, and then Stoke at home. Like the variety of teams, obviously in the league is crazy. But like when you look at obviously like, who they're going to mainly compete against, they don't play like play Leicester in November, which is that'll be a good. To be fair, that'll be a good game.
They'll get their annual whipping from Leicester.
I think you'll beat them home and away. To be honest, but like I look at that, so you've got them there, and then
Don't we have them right at the end of February as well?
mid-February here. Yeah,
Yeah, 14th.
I was trying to find what's their where are they? I was trying to find their Ipswich games. Well, they've got Ipswich obviously.
They've got Ipswich at home on Friday, the 3rd of April.
3rd of April. All right, okay then. Because I'm thinking like those are the games they really have to. Not so obviously they should be trying to beat Leicester. They should be trying to beat Ipswich. But those are going to be difficult games for them. But when I look at there and around, like
Sheffield United as well, just add in there. I think they need to be competing against them too.
yeah,
And Norwich.
they can't slip up, you know. But in terms of like starts of the season, it is big for them. And I think like I agree with Doug completely. Like the one thing they have to do, I'm going to stop sharing now, but like the one thing they must do is get points on the board before they even consider a style of play. I agree with Doug on that.
A lot of it's about regaining confidence for them as well. When you look at how many games they've taken beatings in, not necessarily heavy beatings, but like losing games has become almost an ingrained habit at this point. So I agree with what both Reece and Doug have said. I think it's about winning games first and obviously try to rebuild an identity. But again, like I've said, this will, with the hype that's come with Will still over the last how many years, I've questioned it a bit. I'm not entirely sure where it's justified, but this is his chance ultimately to prove that he's someone who should be able to succeed at a level like this, and especially with one of the clubs that is going to be expected to be up there. And when you look at the
club as well, it's a rich club.
exactly, yeah. And you look at you look at the front three, they're going to have a Burton Diaz, Cameron Archer, and Adam Armstrong. And obviously you've got to work them together into a cohesive front three if you use all three of them in one goal. And they've also got, as Doug will probably know about, they also had Ross Stewart, who was at Sunderland before going to Southampton. And the key thing for me is if they keep Ross Stewart, this is the big problem. If they keep Ross Stewart fit, they've got one of the better forwards in the division. But the problem is he's barely played any games in the last 3 seasons, if we're totally honest.
The Loch Ness Drogba, apparently.
Pretty much. Well, yeah, we spent 300 grand on him, and we end up selling him for 10 million. So Russell Martin's a legend for that and giving us that sort of money. That's all I'll say.
I'm also looking at in terms of their transfers alone. I'm trying to see if I can find like what they've made. But see, in terms of their squad, some of these players are like absolute average. Like, there's only a few of these players I actually think are relatively decent, but like in general, I'm thinking like they really need to add more. I was shocked as well that they turned down a big offer for Tyler Dibling from Everton the other day as well. Like, Everton offered a sheer big chunk of money.
I think it was around about 27 to 32 million. I'm correct.
His market value at the minute is 25 million euros according to Transfer Market.
Yeah,
but he's worth more than that to Southampton, because if he can get Southampton promoted, he's worth like 60 million. It's the same thing. You know what Grealish was to Villa a few years ago, where like at the time he was never a 40 million pound player. You know, when Tottenham tried to get him, because he dragged them to the Premier League, he's gone on to become fantastic and a really good player. But at that time, he was a good player, but he was never that 40 million pound player. I think that's what they're hoping Dibling will be.
I agree with you. I think the good thing that goes for Southampton as well, like squads wise, the average age of their squad is just over 25 years old. So that actually goes really well for them. But then I look at as a comparative example, who I think will be competing with the league. Southampton's average age of their squad is 25.4. Leicester's is 26.6. I would still give the edge, and I'm giving this a positive here to Leicester. I think that extra year is actually good for Leicester in terms of that experience. But I think when you see how much it comes at the end of the season, it's that experience that's going to tell a different side of the story.
You know what's mad is how much our squad age average has gone up in a week just by signing Asmir Begovic. He's 39.
That's something else onto that as well. I'm just looking through their squad again, and there's even names I've missed out. Like Gavin Banzunu, I still think is a solid enough goalkeeper at championship level for them. You're looking at, is Matias Fernandez still there?
He's still there. He's
I thought there was. Will Smallbone is another one who's there. Ryan Fraser.
I like that. I know he had a bit of a weird howler last season, but I do like that Harwood Bellis. I still think he's a decent centre back. I know he had a bad howler as well, but I still think he is a decent player. But when I look at
last couple of seasons in the championship, he stood out massively.
Yeah. I really like.
I doubt he's there by the end. I doubt he's there by the end of the window.
Yeah. He's one of those. I think he was made to look a lot worse in the Premier League than he was because of what he was being asked to do by Russell Martin.
Yeah, Russell Martin really left him down. I like Bella Kotchap as well. Like, I'm a big fan of Bella Kotchap.
Yeah. Just to say as well on the Russell Martin thing, that was one thing that really hindered them, which is that he was stubborn on his sort of way of playing. Now it's all well doing that in the championship when you're going to be one of the more dominant forces in the league. Because again, even though like obviously Leicester, Ipswich, Leeds all finished above them, Southampton was still miles clear of fifth in I think it was West Brom. And they ended up finishing like 12 points clear of them still. So it's one thing when you've got the quality to get away with it in the championship, and also because teams will sit off you more, so you're going to have more of the ball. Whereas in the Premier League, and I think Doug might correct me on this, but I'm sure it was when they played Liverpool at home, one of the goals was down to Liverpool pressing Southampton because they were essentially pissing around at the back and not learning like, hang on, we're against a really good team here, we can't get away with this. Nah, let's just keep doing it. And that probably contributed. And correct me if I'm wrong, Doug, but I'm sure it was the game between you and Southampton at St Mary's that one of the goals happened there.
Yes, it was. It was the Sobersley goal. They were basically dilly-dallying in the box. Two centre-backs were dilly-dallying. And what happened was basically Salah got the ball, passed it to Sobersley, and Sobersley just basically lobbed loved the goalkeeper who had, I think it was Alex McCarthy in goal that day, if my memory serves me correctly. So it was just.
It was a shocking goal.
Yeah, it was.
That's
So,
another thing. If Will Still's style's different to us, Martin, that's one thing they will obviously have to adapt. Where you're going to have to adapt from if it's fast pressing style, fast paced football, you have to transition to that from sort of the slow, methodical attempted methodical build up play and everything else.
I think these players will be fine for that. When I look at them, they're far more physical. I think when you look at certain players they do have, certain players they've actually let go or have moved on actually wouldn't benefit in this style of football. Like Suleiman is a decent player, but he's got a more effective side for him in Atalanta. They got 17 million euros for him. That's crazy. But like still decent. I think they'll do well in terms of like their main competition obviously is Ipswich and Leicester. But it'll be interesting to see how they adapt. I agree. Like obviously he needs to get wins. He needs to convince Southampton fans early on that his style will work with this team. If it doesn't, then obviously the question that Nathan did ask in the chat is very fair. Will he be still in charge? But I don't think Southampton will sack him that quickly. But then again, it's still a madness.
But even with all these questions, though, Southampton should still be in the top 4 comfortably, though. At the bare minimum.
Yes.
Like every single one of the parachute teams should be, even to some lesser degree, Sheffield United, that should be the top 4. Whatever order it is, I don't know. But like even with Leicester's 9 points deduction, well, assuming it's going to be a 9 points deduction, they still should be comfortably ahead of everyone, but at least 20 teams in the division. So I think that's where Will Still and Southampton will have obviously the advantage. And that's why this is why I've repeatedly said, just on a general point, this is why I was so glad Sunderland won the playoffs last year, because of how tough this league is going to be, how competitive it's going to be, how open it's going to be, probably more so at the top, how more quality teams are in there, I think, than last season, even just looking at the non-parachute ones. So, but this is it. So I think what might help Southampton in terms of a possible automatics, weirdly, is if Leicester get a 9 points deduction. Because if it weren't for that, I'd be banking my hat on Ipswich and Leicester automatics, personally.
I think we'll definitely find out for sure. I agree.
We will find out.
But I will caveat that. Sorry, Andrew. I will caveat that if Leicester beat Southampton twice, then obviously that makes up 6 of the 9 points already across the season.
I got a question for Ant though. I do have a question for Ant because I was looking at transfer markets, so I wanted to have a look at your squad. You've only got one recognised striker in Patson Daka. Are you actually looking at any other strikers?
Yeah, so we have put a bid in for Kone, who was at Wickham last year, one of the sort of standout young players at Wickham. And then Daka's not even been who our striker's been during pre-season. It's been Jordan Ayew. Which, again, Premier League level, probably not good enough. Championship level, he'll do a job. It's not exciting, but he'll get goals.
It's better than I've heard you talk about Patson Daka, put it that way.
Honestly, less better, honestly.
Okay, we'll just move swiftly on then.
Well,
but you know what's interesting? What's come out in the last couple of days is we may well not be getting a point deduction.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about, because we want to talk about Leicester. What is the situation? Is it going to be, like I say, you just come out? Is there not going to be a points deduction for Leicester?
It's still unknown, but it was very much reported for a while that it's guaranteed we're going to get a deduction. In the last couple of days, the sort of the wording of everything that's come out, and it's not just like random people on Twitter, it's like people like Rob Dorset, Rob Tanner have been saying that Leicester could well have a fair appeal on this, because the money that we got for Dewsbury Hall and Enzo Maresca going, compensation for that could well mean that we're going to be clear.
It did. To be fair, you have got grounds for it, because the same thing happened with Lyon. Like, obviously, Lyon's situation in France is an absolute joke. Like, still being allowed to compete in Europe should never have happened. But obviously, they made some sort of changes where the Barcola transfer from Lyon to PSG, they were going to pay installments. PSG went, we'll just pay him full. Like, it changed. The minute Lyon's situation was going to court, PSG said, we'll pay him full now. And they kept him in the league. And I'm like, nah, that's very dodgy. I was like, so I think he's got grounds for it based on activity across the board. You can use that as an example.
But you can say if they got away with that, then why should Leicester get a points deduction?
Yeah.
You know? So
and they can play in Europe next season as well. Look at Crystal Palace; they got cheated out of that.
Yeah, it's one of those, and I've said this a few times. Even with a points deduction, I think we should be pushing for automatics anyway, because our squad, I would say, we're a striker away from having the best squad in the league. So, like last year, we were an absolute mess, and we were managed by two absolute morons. Like, we didn't win a game for 4 months, and we still finished above the other two relegated.
I mean, obviously, one person I do have a little bit of sympathy for, concerning what he's done for my club, but I do agree, like, Van Nistelrooy really did not work out for you guys at all.
We didn't score at home 3 months under Van Nistelrooy.
The thing is, though, I don't think he's a bad manager. I think the problem is he took a job where it was not in the right situation for him. And this is not like saying Leicester are a bad club at all. What I'm saying is, you guys were in such a mess behind the scenes, and then it was inflicting on the pitch that he could have no impact, and it reflected very quickly. And he didn't even get any player motivated. No. And I was like,
nah, I'm sorry. You can't not score in 8 games.
I'm not defending that.
No, hear me out.
I'm not defending, of course, but you know what I mean.
You can't not score in 8 games in a row and then not change anything about the team. Put the same team out for 8 games in a row.
No, I do agree with that part, though. I do agree with that. Yeah, I do agree with that.
And then also putting Mavididi on the bench with Bobby Reed, not playing fast Woo, putting Walt Bates as captain, and I'm so glad he got booed when he was captain. He got booed again today as well, and it was absolutely sensational, along with Yannick Vestergaard. But
you'd be happy today with that a lot.
He seems to freeze out all of the players that you think might be able to do something for us here, and then put all of the players that you think, what, like, the fact you've made it as a Premier League footballer still gives me hope.
Yeah, I think the devil's advocate thing about Renaissance, and it might simply be that
he should never have taken the job.
It just wasn't right for either side of it, for Leicester, for Van Nistelrooy, whatever it was. But I suppose the caveat that Anne could probably point to is, and I know how much Leicester didn't want Steve Cooper, and that's fair enough, and there's reasons for that. But at the end of the day, Steve, when Steve, and this is very simplistic, but when Steve Cooper left Leicester was 16th, I think.
16th, but we had played one more game than everyone else.
Yeah. Well, true. Yeah. Okay. So it's but at the same time, but it's the decision making at the top. But if you look at this, is what I mean. So I didn't realize until me and Anne started doing our shows again this summer, and we were going. And after we spoke in one of them, we went through Leicester's squad at length, didn't we? And we actually looked at who you've got. And for me, I think if Leicester could get a striker away, and if they don't, particularly if they don't get a point deduction, then for me the picture changes. I think the only reason I don't have Leicester in the top 2 is because of that points deduction. That's all it is.
Yeah, I agree.
If you remove that, I think they finish above Southampton without too much difficulty, if I'm honest. I think, but that's not the. But again, I think when it's bye, Reece.
Don't worry. Yeah.
No, that's fine. But I just off the top of my head, like Fatawu, Mavididi, Skip, Winks, Ricardo Pereira, James Justin. I believe Ben Nelson's obviously come back from Oxford, hasn't he? And like I've said many times before, when he played, it was one game, but he scored against Sunderland at the Kassam at the end of last season. And obviously we were in prepare for playoffs mode effectively at that point. But he looked really a real handful for Oxford. So that's a good thing for Leicester. He's already got the experience of the Championship. He's got a year of developing at that level. And I think, and obviously with Marty Cifuentes, who I think is actually a pretty sound appointment for Leicester. And I'm keen to see what he does with a significantly better squad at his disposal than what he had to do at QPR. Because, I'm quite. I'm probably more optimistic for Leicester than I certainly was a while back. When you look through what they've got, obviously the striker is the main issue. When obviously you've got Jordan Ayew and Patson Daka, but like I said, the less Ant says on Patson Daka, the better probably. As far as the Jamie Vardy thing, obviously that's a big thing that they have to adapt without him. But I think they'll find it easier to do that in the Championship than they would have, say, in the Premier League. And obviously the biggest question marks over a couple of players. I think one is Matt Hermanson, who I believe played for you today, but obviously he's linked with West Ham.
He did, and apparently he's agreed personal terms with West Ham as well. So we could be getting about 28 million for him. So, and it's like the thing is, I really like Matt Hermanson. But I also like Delarchak, who's our number 2. So, like, I think he's more.
This could be the best thing that happened to him, then, couldn't it?
But it's also, I think that's why Begovic has already been brought in to be number 2, because there's the anticipation that Matt Hermanson's going to move. The big one is Bilal El Khanous.
That's why I wanted to come to.
He's a quality player. I like him.
Because he's
been. And it's come out today from Ben Jacobs and Rob Tanner. He doesn't have a release clause in his contract, even though it's been reported. But he only had a release clause in his contract if European teams come in for him.
Yeah.
I reckon you can get a decent fee for him. I reckon you can get Will for 30.
I think because I was going to say we have been linked with him in the last couple of days because we tried to get Paxo from final before he joined Marseille because he wanted to join Marseille. El Khanous had been on our radar.
He was on ours apparently for the last couple of weeks as well.
Yeah. You know what does worry me though? He's been linked to Tottenham, and Maddison got injured today, and it looked quite a bad injury.
Yeah,
I think Tottenham will be one of those teams where that release clause is valid for, because obviously they're in the Champions League.
I agree. I think they'll speed up for that because look how fast they went from discussing with Palhinha to then quickly announcing Palhinha as well for the midfield. So they've done that. So I agree. I think they will make some sort of effort to try and speed up an attacking option now. They really need to.
It does because because I know Solomon is being looked at by Thomas Frank, and they thought, can he fit in that mold? What Madison can do? It's an interesting one if they get El Khanous. What does that imply? Does the implications on that of Solomon might come back to the road?
It's a massive loss for Tottenham. He's a quality player, Madison. He's a bit of a dick sometimes, but he's a quality player when he's actually fit to play.
Yeah.
The thing is, Maddison's one of those players, when he's on it, there's very few players better than him in the league, but he has too many of these quiet spells. Like, when he's good, he's unplayable. But you can go 2-3 games where you just don't notice him at all.
But here's another point for Leicester that I know Ant will be delighted with, because I know he's mentioned this quite a lot. You got a fee for Conor Cody. He's gone.
I love Wrexham right now. They've taken Danny Ward off us. They've taken Conor Cody. They're on a hat trick for taking dead Wood. Do they want like a Wout Faes or a Yannick Vestergaard on a?
Imagine Wrexham have put in a loan bid for Patson Daka from Leicester on a season-long loan.
Honest to God, if they do that, I will buy a Wrexham shirt.
The absolute scenes as well about Wrexham is obviously he was linked. I think Conor Cody's a decent centre back, but I was laughing because a lot of fans, pals of mine that are Rangers fans as well, were like, "Oh, Conor Cody's going to join Rangers at the end of the season." I was like,
If you think Conor Cody's a half decent centre back, honestly, look under the post.
I think he's decent like a team that's compact. I don't think he can play like possession football. If you're like a compact defence, we can just lump him with a big man. Fine.
I think he'd be decent for Wrexham.
Yeah.
Have a look though under the comments. You know when Leicester announced that he joined Wrexham. If you want to see what Leicester fans think of Conor Cody, have a look.
That bad eye. I don't think he's that. I think he's bad.
Out of Wout Faes, Yannick Vestergaard, Conor Cody, he was by far our worst centre back last year.
Yeah, I think there's so many. I think there's so many players that are expected to play a certain style of football they just can't cope with, and I think he's one of them, and that really does hamper your game, especially when you're trying to be a much better player. But I was laughing when a few of my friends were like, "Oh, he's got to Wrexham," and I'm like, "Good, I don't fucking care." John Stewart's better, mate.
Perfect club for him. He loves being in the media. He loves being on podcasts.
And he's close to Nathan, so now Nathan can square up to him.
And he's a dickhead.
It'd be nice for Nathan to go to the biggest club.
And he is a dickhead, Doug. Exactly.
But
an absolute dickhead.
What do you guys think? So if Leicester don't get a points deduction, do they get automatics? Do you think?
If Leicester don't get a points
deduction, I think they do.
I'm gonna say win the league.
I think
Ipswich.
I think if they don't get, I think if they don't get points deduction, I think they will probably be battling for the automatics. I will say this now: I think Fatawu is going to be like a new signing.
That was some goal he scored
today. They missed him badly last season.
I've seen the highlights of the goal he scored today. That's really nice touch with the left foot. Really like the cutting on his left foot and into the far corner as well. Like proper winger's goal. That
honestly. You know, when a player comes back from an injury, you think, is he still going to have that yard of pace? Like, that's his first full game that he's played since his injury.
Yeah.
In your first game back. unreal.
I did watch him a few times at Sporting, and I just like the way he cuts in on players early. I was like, that's chef's kiss.
Yeah.
It was a lovely goal, that, and it'll be like a new signing for you. I know it's a cliche phrase that goes around a lot, but it's an important one. That will feel like a new signing for you guys if you can keep him fit, especially if he's hogging the touchline as well.
Yeah, you know what I really like today as well, and like I like saying about hugging the touchline. We had Mavididi one side hugging the left touchline.
I love Mavididi.
Bastawu hugging the right touchline, and it felt so much like, you know, when Enzo Maresca was in charge of, like, where we were dominating the ball and like it going from one side to the other and using the width really well. Like, honestly, this team is like suits the Enzo Maresca style so much, and I think that there's so much similarities between Martin Cifuentes' style of football and Enzo Maresca's. Like, I couldn't quite believe, and Fiorentina are not a bad side, and I know it's only a pre-season friendly, but they were chasing shadows for a good 60, 70 minutes today, which, again, that's why I'm feeling like really, like part of the reason I'm feeling really confident. But it's, at the same time, it's a pre-season friendly. You don't want to get.
It's good to have that. It's still good to have that confidence anyway. But like, like it's like exactly. Fiorentina were recently just in a European final as well. Like it happens.
Exactly. Yeah. I think the question I was going to ask Van, so what's the general mood around Cifuentes now? Because obviously it took you very long time to sort out the Ruud van Nistelrooy stuff when he eventually left, and then obviously Cifuentes ends up coming in after the talk of Danny Rule. There was a lot of talk of Danny Rule for quite a long time, but what's the mood around Cifuentes now, do you think? Is there a discernible style of play from what you've seen?
Yeah, instantly. Like, and like you can see it today within like minute one of Wig pressing really high up the pitch, aggressive pressing. Like, obviously saying about using the width, really trying to move the ball, and like there was an identity straight away, and it feels like everyone's behind him, and it feels like a real unity in the fan base. But there always does when there's a new manager comes in. It'll be when we lose a couple of games. That's when you'll see sort of what the feeling is. But I can't wait for against Sheffield Wednesday, because today there was only, I think, 15, 20,000 there because it was a pre-season friendly. I can't wait for when you get the moaners there next week against Sheffield Wednesday when we play a back pass. Get it forward!
Oh, I hate stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like that when we're knocking the ball about a bit and like playing with the ball slightly. I don't know if it's the same for you guys. We've got just a section of our fan base that think, knock it down the channel every time. Yeah. And it's like, that's when
that annoys me though, when they go like, oh, just play it forward, man. What? So, okay, I'll pass it. Oh, we're giving it away. Well, you said play it forward. Like, some people just don't realise you have to sometimes go back. And obviously there's a difference between just passing around the back for the hell of it and not going forward at all. But I mean, like, come on, you can't. Would you rather they kept the ball so an attack can build gradually, or would you rather just force a pass forward and then be on the back foot immediately because you're giving it away?
Then there's these blokes who used to sit behind me, you know, during the Enzo season, who used to go, get it forward. So I'd always just shout, keep the ball, just to wind them up.
And wind someone up, what a shock. But, to be fair, I'm just looking at, we talked about Southampton's fixtures at the start. So we look at Leicester's, so obviously they've got Huddersfield in the midweek of the first midweek in the Cup, but like in the Championship, they've got Sheffield Wednesday at home, Preston away, Charlton away, then what was it, Birmingham at home?
Yeah.
I'd say that's a pretty decent start fixture-wise. I mean, obviously, look, I think on paper, Birmingham... Sorry?
Haven't we got Cobb in that as well? I thought we've got the Derby as one of
us. In September, you've got Oxford. You've got a trip to Oxford, Coventry at home. Then you obviously a trip to West Brom and you host Wrexham. So really, if you look at it again, football isn't on paper, but the ones that stand out to me, obviously Coventry will be interesting. West Brom, what was the other one? Birmingham, but it's at the King Power. So I think your first month is a pretty good opportunity to. I wouldn't be surprised actually if, say you did get a -9 points, for example. Well, obviously there's talk whether that'll happen or not, but say worst case scenario you do, I wouldn't be surprised if that's gone within the first month. Personally,
you know what would be brilliant if we got a well, this bit wouldn't be brilliant if we got a -9 deduction. Like, that bit would be awful. But if we did get a deduction and we still headed into the Cobb game above them, would be brilliant. But I really, really hope that Cobb fall apart this year.
I mean,
there you go, Reece.
There you go.
But You know,
what's the more bingo that Reece is calling someone stripper clubs and mentioning something that'll piss off COV fans?
Yeah.
There's only 6 of them to piss off anyway, so it's fine.
There's another one.
I mean, to be fair, if you really want to do it, all you got to say is, Will still be in charge of a stripper club when Will still keeps going on with his new style of play when Will still gets on shots that Ant needs to start fucking drinking now, so Will still start drinking, mate.
How do you say it that quickly without breaking one?
I know. Listen.
You must have some of the biggest lungs in the world.
I'm just a god amongst men.
You know what?
Clearly.
You know what I will find
about Livingston, mate.
Oh yeah.
Joking aside about COG, I don't think their defence is I genuinely think their defence is going to be what lets them down getting playoff this year.
I agree.
Going forward, they can cause problems for most teams. Defensively, I don't rate any of their players apart from Van Eyck and the lad they signed from Villa.
It's why I've got them. It's why I've got them like down in I've got them in 7th. Just saying. I've got them.
You know what's even funnier is they're selling Premier League season tickets already. I'll find you the marketing thing.
They're not even going to be in the Prem. They need to stop forcing rivalries that don't make any sense.
The thing is, I know they get this accusation of forcing rivalries. It's like the one club that you can get that sort of you can't accuse them for it is with Leicester because it is that is actually your rivals. But they're probably still at Wembley waving their stupid fucking plastic flags, clapping off as if they didn't lose United. Like, we took a moral victory. Fuck off.
Yeah, they took a moral victory. Yeah, they took the moral victory, and they still exited.
Absolutely.
What was it? What was the? I'm trying to. Oh, here we go. All I'll say is this.
Oh.
Nice.
I actually have a bit of a laugh for you guys. Dele Alli has just come out. Well, he's not come out. Before anyone gets what I'm saying, that's not what I'm saying. It's actually coming from Dele Alli that Cesc Fabregas does not want him anywhere near Como.
Wow.
I feel sorry for Dele Alli. Yeah. There's so much going on off the pitch with him.
Yeah. I can see him back in. I think a championship club should try and make an attempt to sign him. Like even if it's on loan, I think he'd be decent in the championship.
These are the type of comeback stories you get though. Where
I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's not good enough for the Premier League. Obviously, he's had a lot of shit. But I feel like if you want a good safe place for him, I think the championship actually might be a good place for him just to regain his confidence.
Yeah, possibly. Well, that's the type of story that comes out and happens where you get players that lose their way and then end up coming back and then end up maybe dropping down a level, but end up succeeding and getting their sort of form back. Just another point I was good before I forget on Leicester. What's the situation with Josh Brownhill at the minute? Because I believe you put a contract offer in for him, didn't you? Because if you pull that off, I think that's a superb signing.
I know that we put a contract offer in. I think we're just waiting for a response on that.
Hey, Josh, you need to hurry up, mate. The season's less than a couple of weeks away, mate.
But to me, that says he's waiting to see, because I think Everton have put an offer in, haven't they, as well?
But that doesn't make sense to me. So if you're waiting for an offer at Prem Club, why not just stay at Burnley?
Because he would get bigger wages dropping down to the Championship.
Yeah.
Leicester in the Championship will give you bigger wages than Burnley will in the Premier League.
That's what I was going to say. If that's the case, then you think, well, you want to sign for Leicester then, surely. So I don't know. I mean, if he goes to... I suppose it depends how much he cares about playing football, doesn't it?
But it's also, like Harry Winks, I've talked about this before, got a stupid bonus when we got promoted of £1 million or something. I wouldn't be surprised if we put him on 45 grand a week, 50 grand a week, and then if we get promoted, he gets given £1 million.
Yeah. As I said, no, but I think Cifuentes seems to be a good. Well, again, it is based on pre-season, but it seems to be a good fit for Leicester. It's a bit similar to what we said with Southampton, that you need to obviously get results early on. Sheffield Wednesday in the state they're in at the minute, you couldn't have handpicked really better. And I feel for Sheffield Wednesday a lot. I think their fans deserve a lot better, but you couldn't have, from a Leicester point of view, you could not have picked many better fixtures on the opening day.
No,
as long as you turn up and do your job, you couldn't have picked much better fixtures.
I was watching a Sheffield Wednesday video YouTuber on the way to the ground today, and they were doing a podcast talking about the start of the season, and they're saying that they feel like they've almost been put walking into the lion's den on the opening day of the season. One of the promotion favourites when they're going to be heading there with practically a youth team. I do feel sorry for them, and they're like a proper fan base, proper football club. Shouldn't be being dragged through the dirt like this.
It is unfortunate for them. I've just seen as well, so I'm related for us, but Mbeumo actually starts for us tonight. I'm actually going to see how he gets on his debut.
I like Mbeumo. That's a really good signing for you lot.
Yeah.
And it's good because it weakens Brentford, and hopefully we'll have a chance of catching them.
That is true. They're
Los and Leeds, actually. Los and Leeds will have a chance of catching them.
I think they're going to be so far down the league this season that nobody's actually prepared for that conversation.
Well, let's put it this way: Sunderland play Brentford in our third game. We play them at Stadium of Light at the end of the month.
Yeah, I'm worried for them.
It's not just that they've lost players, because Brentford have always been a team that you lose.
It's the manager.
But it's the amount of key players that they've lost in one transfer window. Yeah. And Mbeumo, Norgard,
and Wissa could leave as well.
Vista. I feel like I'm forgetting someone as well. Then obviously Thomas Frank as well going, and it's not replaced. And they've not replaced Thomas Frank with an experienced manager.
Yeah, is it not the set piece guy or something that got the job?
Keith Andrews.
Keith Andrews, the former player.
I'm sorry, Bev. That screams relegation fight for me. That does.
I think he'll be gone before December.
Yeah, I think they're in huge trouble. I just wanted to bring up as an unrelated conversation. Obviously, I've seen Mbeumo's, because our game starts at half an hour, so I'll have it silent on TV before the other shit show starts at 11 o'clock. But
who are you playing tonight?
Everton.
Oh yeah, it's one of those broad friendly tournament things, isn't it?
Yeah.
If
you get a chance, by the way, you need to see the Evan Nielsen miss from close range, open goal, close range miss from Evan Nielsen in the Bournemouth game against West Ham as well.
Right. Let's get back on top because we've been all over the place with Leicester.
Yeah, let's get back to the championship.
That's a good thing about a show.
It is true. That is true. I give credit. Do you know what? We'll leave Sheffield United later on and Sheffield Wednesday because it's a lot to discuss the Sheffield clubs where both of them are going. Let's talk about the promoted clubs that came from League One. Starting off with Birmingham City. My God, Doug, they made some good signings. Kyogo going from Rennes after he had a bit of a disappointed.
That's a beautiful signing, that.
Yeah, a disappointed time in France for when he signed from Celtic. Tyler Gardner Hitman from Bristol City on the deal. Kanya Fujimoto from Gil Vicente. And Damari Gray is back in England after he's from Etafak as well. So
I just had one more signing in there. Sorry to interrupt. Tommy Doyle from Wolves.
He is an excellent signing. He is a brilliant player.
Best bit of business they've done.
Yeah, what business, Doug? Can they surprise a lot of people in the championship this season?
I mean the squad they've got for a championship side is just unbelievable. I mean, it's sort of going through the whole team really, like Ethan Laird, Tommy Doyle, Kyogo Furuhashi, Lyndon Dykes. Yeah, they are looking really, really good. I think Chris Davis deserves his flowers because he's been Brendan Rodgers' assistant for a number of years. It's nice to see him actually get like a full-time permanent position as a number one. I think Birmingham will be really good to watch this season. And I tell you something, Kyogo. I know he obviously he's had a bit of a rough time in Rennes, but if you get that Birmingham City front two firing, I honestly think Kyogo will be definitely up there potentially for maybe top goal scorer because I think he's
well, bloody hell, that.
Yeah, I mean it's just it's such a good signing for that league as well. And I think as well that obviously the backing that obviously Tom Brady has given Birmingham City has been absolutely fantastic. So yeah, look, I think they'll be definitely fighting for the playoffs. Maybe even if they start really, really well, they could really test the top two for sure. I've been very impressed with. I was impressed with them last season because obviously they brought in that Stansfield from Fulham for 50 million quid. Now, I think if you're a side in League One and you're getting a player for 50 million quid, then I think everyone kind of expected you to win the league. And yeah, 111 points was fantastic for Birmingham.
He
And
broke the
yeah,
record in
look,
League
I'm
One as
look.
well. Yeah, broke the record
Mhm.
in League One.
And I think they'll be good fun to watch. Just very quickly as well. Obviously, I'll mention Charlton. Great to see them back. I think they were languishing in League One for a number of years. Obviously, I remember them once in the Premier League for the Alan Kirbishley days. There was Alan Pardew. I think he had Ian Dowie. I think at one point as well. It's good to see them back. Nathan Jones. I'll be honest. I'm not so keen on Nathan Jones. Some of the things he says are quite outlandish when he was at Southampton. At Luton, I think he was really good at Luton. Southampton, not so. But I think the thing you get with Nathan Jones is he will ask you to play for him. I think signing the lad from QPR as well. I think that's a cracking signing. Name goes away from the top of my head, but that is a really good signing. And I said it on my championship predictions video the other night. Wrexham for me, I think a lot of people are overestimating Wrexham. I think this might be the season.
Charlie Kelman, is that who you were talking about?
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's the one I was talking about. I'm going to say this now. I think most people are overestimating Wrexham. I don't think they are going to have triple promotions. I just can't see it.
I agree.
I think they've got the team to survive, but what I don't think is that they're going to be a team that is definitely going to be fighting near the playoffs. I've seen people say potentially they could be top half. I've seen people say that they could potentially be, sort of lower bottom half, but surviving pretty comfortably.
I've got them in the middle, to be honest. From where I've predicted them, I've got them in the middle.
Yeah, same.
My only worry with Wrexham is if it goes badly for the start of the season, will Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds decide enough's enough? Thank you for your service, Phil Parkinson. You've obviously got us up from National League. You've got us up from League Two. You've obviously got us up from League One.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm kind of at with Wrexham right now. If it goes wrong, do the boards be like, all right, we panic and obviously decide that enough's enough. Thank you for your service to Phil Parkinson, and then get some big head from I don't know, like America, Germany, or somewhere like that.
He's not had a good record in the Championship historically from his time at Hull, Charlton, pretty much those two clubs, because.
So that's my one thing with Wrexham is if it goes badly, does Phil Parkinson survive? I'll tell you now, I don't think Phil Parkinson lasts the season. I think he's away at some point this season.
I think what's interesting for them, though, and this is maybe something that goes in their favour, is obviously letting Paul Mullen's gone to Wigan. Obviously, it is an unfortunate loss for them. Sam Dalby's gone to Bolton, but they have brought in Ryan Hardy as well, and he was actually quite decent at Plymouth. So I've seen Ryan Hardy in the flesh a lot, so I know he's a decent player. The only problem is though is they've still got delinquents like Jay Rodriguez in their squad, and he is a delinquent for me. But I think Josh Windass will be a decent player for them.
I think so as well. Yeah, it's just the goals. It's the questions up front is the issue I'm concerned about, because you got 2-3 players over the age of 30, Ollie Palmer, Jack Marriott, and Jay Rodriguez.
It's a very old squad. It's not in a way like experience, but it's 27.5 years average age experience.
Yeah.
And it's less than one full year older than Leicester's, but it's a lot of players that are 28 and above. And I've got nothing against 28-year-olds and above. I like good experience, but when your full squad, your best players are those ages, that does hurt you, especially over a 46-game calendar season. They are actually linked with a player though right now from midfield, Juan Portilla. They're linked from him. He is from Atlas as well, so obviously that's Telera. So it is from the Argentine league. I don't know if that's what they should be looking for. I mean, to be fair, he's managed by a legend in Kempis, but that's the sort of players they shouldn't be looking at. They need to try and get some red. I'm surprised nobody's tried to sign Morgan Whittaker. I still don't get that.
That's always been that funny thing. Why is Morgan Whittaker?
I don't get that. I think he's quality. Like
too good for League One, Morgan Whittaker. He really is.
I believe
Morgan Whittaker is at Middlesbrough, by the way.
Oh, sorry,
I was thinking
my fault. Yeah,
so he's at a shit club, right? So
yeah, well, no comment on that.
He's a shit club.
But yeah, to add my sort of sense on the promoted sides,
Middlesbrough is what I call them.
No comment. Other than just have your gas masks at the ready, but or Darth Vader mask. Let's go less controversial. But yeah, I think in terms when I actually agree with Doug that I think people are overestimating Wrexham's chances for going up. I think they're going to be in for a bit of a shock at how much better the Championship is compared to what they've been used to playing over the last few years. Now, I think they will have more than enough to survive. Like Ant will remember this. Me and him did one of these videos, and there was a couple of comments that basically had a go at us for putting Wrexham as low as we did. But I don't think that it's it's personally unreasonable to think that Wrexham will not be pushing for the playoffs and for the first season, mid-table should be considered a good season in my opinion.
Yeah.
For the first season, I think
I don't know if I'm underestimating the league or if I'm overestimating Wrexham's achievements, but I've got them I've got my prediction spreadsheet beside me, and I've got them in 15th.
I got them
I think that their fans are in for a bit of a reality shock because they've had such a quick rise. From the National League, I think they're really going to you're going to realise you've got some big clubs in the Championship that have been in the Premier League for a long time. You've got clubs that
much bigger resources,
even with your new owners that are comfortably going to outspend you. I think this is going to be the first time that they're financially not one of the bigger clubs in the league since they've had their new owners.
I agree.
That's
I can't repeat what I put in the group chat the other day, but I put that they're going to struggle a little bit and their fairy tale might be over.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I do remember.
I mean, there is literally a chance here where Wrexham, for the first time, finally realise that they're about to shit the bed. It's a cliche phrase. Like they are genuinely. I don't think they're going to get relegated, but they've got a chance where they actually they need to have some humble expectations. If they literally come up here and say we're going to get playoffs, they're deluding themselves. They could end up surprising people and actually doing quite well. But I think they'd be deluding themselves if they say, "Oh, we're going to get playoffs." I think they should aim for, I would say, 10th to 15th is a reasonable expectation for Wrexham. I don't think that's a bad expectation at all. I think I think that's mature. But if they say they're aiming for playoffs, they're insane.
I do think that if you're aiming for playoffs within the next 3 seasons, that's fair enough. That's fine.
That's
but
fair.
Another thing they've got to realise is that PSR is going to be right on their shoulders now because you're in the Championship. Because I believe in the lower leagues, there's an example of why Birmingham were able to get Stansfield for 15 million. Because would they have been able to do that deal if they stayed in the Championship?
No, they would have been screwed.
No,
they would have been screwed.
So
can I put a bet on about Wrexham?
Mm-hmm.
The first conking they take, Connor Cody will be there post-match with his microphone. "Oh, sorry, it's unacceptable. I want to take responsibility for this, and we'll come back looking better going forward." 2 weeks later, they'll take the same conking. "Sorry, this is unacceptable. We want to come back better going forward."
I'll go one further. Connor Cody does the announcements, and then Ryan Reynolds says, "Meanwhile, we've started filming for another Deadpool movie, so stay tuned for that because I'm looking forward to being involved with my two swords."
You know what, right? I think, but yeah, the being jokes aside, but look, right, for what Anne says about Connor Cody, I stand by that. I think for Wrexham, where they should be at this season, where they're reasonable expectation, I think you could get worse than Connor Cody for them. Obviously not good enough now for a parachute team, that's fair enough. But for a club that's just come up from League One, I think it's fair enough. Josh Windass, I agree. I think Doug said this. I think Josh Windass, I think should be. And Reece, sorry. Well, either way, Josh Windass.
I rate Josh Windass.
Yeah, Josh Windass should be a decent signing on a free. Lewis O'Brien, I don't think that should be a bad signing either. Ryan Hardy.
The way he got wasted at Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I think
put Ryan Hardy. Well, not in that sense, obviously. I think he'll be their main striker, but put Windass close to Hardy in terms of that connection, because they played with each other at Rangers as well. So you've actually got a very close connection between the two. And that should get them some goals.
I agree. Yeah. But do you know who else should? Nathan Broadhead, because I've seen they've been linked with him today. Now, the trouble with Nathan Broadhead is keeping him fit, but I will stand by it that I think Nathan Broadhead will be one of the best players in the Championship, or at least one of the more underrated ones, if you keep him fit regularly enough. Now, I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure, I think it was Benjamin Bloom who put a video up. Now, it might be that he was basing it off a report that maybe it didn't have much substance. Was there a fee of like $7.5 million being linked with Nathan Broadhead?
Yeah.
If that's right, that is a lot, considering his injury record. But
it could be worse. He could be...
Patrick Bamford.
Yep. And also a certain Scottish striker that played regularly for Sheffield United that could potentially get picked for our national team. That's an absolute embarrassment, and he's an ugly ball.
No comment there.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I think with Wrexham, I agree with them, Reece. I think Ryan Hardy's a really good signing.
And he's still young as well. Like, people forget that. Like, Ryan Hardy is still a young player as well. So,
exactly. So I think there's a decent. I think there's a decent chance of doing something that. Here we go.
Top tier
AI work going on there. So yeah, but another area where I think I'll back Doug up on this, and maybe I'm not just saying this because he managed Sunderland 5 years ago. But Phil Parkinson, I think there is a big question mark over. I think Phil Parkinson's reached his ceiling now. I think that where he's obviously brilliant. The job he's done is, whether you can say all the money they're throwing at it, I quite frankly couldn't give a fuck about that. You can say all the money you want in the world, that is not a guarantee of success. You still have to go out and do it. And I think that Parkinson does deserve credit for getting Wrexham back-to-back promotions in 3 years. That is not an easy... Whatever money you throw at it, that is not an easy thing to do. Because if anything, that can be a hindrance because of the expectation based on the money being spent. But this is the first time where I think some Wrexham fans will have to maybe take a little bit of a humility pill a little bit and sort of go, right, you are not going to, I promise you, they are not going to get anywhere near the likes of your Leicesters and your Southamptons and your Ipswiches and your Sheffield Uniteds to a degree. You're not going to get anywhere near any of those. And I think I'd be very surprised if Phil Parkinson is still there in a year's time. I'd be astonished if he's. For me, I think he's a really good manager to get you up to the Championship. Once you get there, unless you to be fair, he did well to keep Bolton up. I think it was like 7 or 8 years ago when there was a lot of problems going on behind there, proving the myth that you don't always have to spend money to do well. But I also think that if Wrexham want to get to the Premier League down the line, they will need better than Phil Parkinson. And it might sound harsh, it might sound ruthless, but exactly. But they need to go right. We massively appreciate what you've done, but we need somebody who's better. I'll tell you.
I think it's got Steve Cooper written all over it. I'm sorry.
The Championship Steve Cooper.
Yeah, because he's a Wrexham fan as well.
Oh, sorry.
Well, they definitely need to choose Caerphilly over the deal.
Right. Tell you another point. This might be an unsung shout, by the way. In terms of overrating slightly, I think Birmingham's chances are being slightly overrated. Slightly. Not completely, but slightly.
I'm going to drink to that.
Right, because I think Birmingham have every chance of the playoffs. I think Birmingham have every chance and I do look at their team and let me see if I get my notes here. So look at it. So obviously I had Ethan Laird there. They've got Jay Stansfield. They've got is it James Beadle? They've got in from Brighton. I think is it from Brighton? I think it is. Tommy Doyle, Damari Gray, Kyogo. That I really rate a lot of the signings that they've made. I rate that their ambition there. I think if they get Chuba Akpom, I'm not so sure if they get him or not. But if they get him, that's also another terrific signing. But I think they're also going to be in for a big shock about how strong the parachute teams are. I don't think Birmingham will get anywhere close to the likes of Leicester and Ipswich and Southampton. Maybe Sheffield United, because I think you could get at them potentially. But I'm not convinced that they will have a shot at automatics personally. I do think, however, they should be strong contenders for a playoff place. But so it's good to know that Ant drank to that, so that I'm not the only one who has that opinion. But
no, it's true. And the question is, did he drink still to get in the playoffs? Because he's got to will still drink even more at the end of the season.
Watch out, Beadle's about.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, no.
Do you know what? I think Doug has literally took the term dad jokes to a literally whole new level there.
Listen.
When our last movie trolleyed in a bit, I'm blaming you guys.
I mean, I blame society. I already gave my disclaimer earlier on saying if you're at a certain age where you shouldn't be legally drinking, you should not watch this because you will be.
Exactly.
I'm
just saying that as a compliment, and you're saying that you don't think I should be legally drinking, and you'd ID me. It might not be what you're saying, but I'm going to take it as that.
No,
I would absolutely ID you, mate, if I worked in retail.
Thank you.
I'm just going to say
as well, Reece, so I know how much pain in the backside it can
do. Oh, hell yeah.
I'm just going to say this. I'm really looking forward to seeing like our predictions because that's like the next sort of.
I will gladly.
I'm
I will gladly show mine on screen right now. I've got no fear when I know nothing.
Well, I'm going to say I'm not
Championship.
going to show mine yet because I'm going to do a video on my own channel this week about them. But yeah, But yeah,
I've got no
I
fear.
think to sum it, I think Birmingham and Wrexham's chances, particularly Wrexham's, are being overrated a little bit. I think Birmingham will be in a good shout to get into the playoffs or at least to finish, but I think they'll be fighting for fourth to sixth place. I think one of the comments in there says if Blues get Chuba Akpom, we will smash Leicester. I'd be very surprised if Leicester don't win that game, if I'm totally honest, without any dodgy sendings off or anything like that. But I also think to complete the bit on the promoted sides, like what Doug said, I think it's great having Charlton back in the Championship, 5 years away.
100%.
Yeah.
This is where I might disagree slightly with Doug and Reece. I think Nathan Jones, for up to a certain level, is a decent manager. And I say up to a certain level because for Stoke, nowhere near good enough. For Southampton in the Premier League, definitely not good enough. But for someone like a Charlton who's just come up from League One, for what he did at Luton, I think that fits a certain type of club. Now, Charlton are bigger than Luton, without a doubt. But my point is, they've been in League One for 5 years. They have just come up. I think they are going to have... I think what's going to help them is I think this siege mentality. Nathan Jones is great, whether you like him or not, is an us against the world sort of mentality. And that ultimately was a lot of what drove his success at Luton. Not all of it, because he obviously did really well there over 2 spells. But I think at Charlton it will serve very well for him, actually. And I don't be surprised if the Valley's a pretty tricky place for teams to go, because that siege mentality will be like, say, for example, Leicester, I think, go there in the first 3 games, I believe, the Valley.
Right.
I would still probably expect Leicester to win, but don't be surprised if they come out of it battered and bruised. That's all I'll say.
I like Nathan Jones. He's a bit of a shithouse, isn't he?
Of course you'd like him.
Playing God mode. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, so
he absolutely does play God mode with the still on the will getting on the road. We go. So let's carry on. I've even done his name in reverse for you.
Still will. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, but I don't know what likes of Carl. What do you think about the promoted sides, Birmingham, Wrexham, and Charlton?
Slightly. Listen, I slightly over for Birmingham. They're gonna fight, but I think it's gonna be more into the playoffs. But I don't see the promotion like to the top 4 clubs that were, I really don't. But I do set the charge. I think with Charlton, with with Nathan Jones, he does fit that type of us gets well at that club quite well, and I think that will be the pushing the part that that us gets well might keep them up. Yeah. I think, like I say, it's gonna be a lot of humble pie for Rex because it's gonna be the biggest reality check for them. Can you compete in the Championship? You've not been in the top in the second tier division, which was the first tier for over 40 years. So there's a lot of changes that happened since then. So you're going to have to really be realistic on what ambition is going to be, your long-term plan. So if Parks is still in the job by the end of that year, I'll be amazed. They may have to make the decision to move on. Because Rob Mack and Ryan Reynolds, they'll have to make that decision if things don't go well by November.
And remember as well, what's their ultimate ambition for Wrexham? To get into the Premier League. So there does come a point where they are going to have to grow beyond Phil Parkinson as well as he has done for them. I think as well with Wrexham, I think, like I said, I think that aiming for the playoffs within the next 2-3 seasons is a fair sort of shout. But all you also got to remember, like for whatever their fans will go, and probably with Birmingham, it might should be a bit similar actually, where if say both clubs are really spending big on a player, let's say Wrexham, for example, are bidding Right. I know Leicester won't want Nathan Broadhead, but here's an example just to back my argument up.
I'd say 10 to 12. I'd say 10 to 12 million is the furthest they'll go in terms of signing a player in the Championship. In my opinion.
Okay, there's an example. So let's say they went for a player for 10 to 12 million, and that's the most that they could bet for a player. But Leicester also want him. Leicester could just go blow them out of the water financially, and that's
we're about to get £60 million in player sales.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's on
parachute payments.
I was just about to say that is on top of the parachute payments that you will have. So anyone like a Southampton or a Leicester or an Ipswich, or to a lesser degree Sheffield United, can blow teams like Wrexham whatever money their owners want to spend out of the water, because they're going to realise, and Tom Brady at Birmingham will realise this if he doesn't get promoted in the next couple of years, you can't just go and spunk money wherever you want.
No.
You just cannot do that anymore when it comes to PSR. The only way you can do that is if you're doing like a Brighton conveyor belt and regularly selling one big player a year for PSR, then you could maybe get away with it and justify it more. If they're going to go up, it's going to be a gradual process, like say what Brighton did over many years ago, like what Sunderland, for example, did over the last 3 seasons, where although we had a bad 6 months where we somehow decided Michael Beale was a good manager, other than that, yeah, there you talk about stripper clubs there, Reece. He's a stripper head coach. There you go.
Beals on wheels.
Right, what's this?
Leicester accepted 10 million for Ndidi, which is good because he's not in the plan.
You know what's interesting as well is, funnily enough, they're making a bid for a player that their manager wanted to sign when he was the manager of my club. But you know what's actually funnier is there's potential he might be getting sacked and Mancini might be replacing him with Besiktas.
By the way, just quickly on the promoted clubs, I think, well, this is Alex Crook, so it's from TalkSport, so maybe take this with a pinch of salt. But apparently, Kiefer Moore's moved from Sheffield United to Wrexham, £2 million plus add-ons.
Oh, Nathan is about to abuse the living hell out of him.
Yes.
Then.
Why would now?
I know you're watching. You can't say anything. They're in the league above you.
Nathan, that's true. But Nathan will denounce. He will denounce Kiefer Moore as a Wales man now.
Yeah,
he will declare him something else.
And to be honest, Dan, even if Cardiff are in the league below Wrexham, when's that ever stopped Nathan from speaking his mind?
Nothing. Never.
No, exactly. So, but well, that's okay. I actually, here's a weird one. I like Kiefer Moore, especially after May 24th, when he decided to give Tommy Watson the ball to help score our winning goal to get us promoted. But see, Kiefer, you came good in the end, even though you didn't sign for us. But but again, that's another type of signing where even if for Sheffield United, there obviously a reason they're willing to let Kiefer Moore go. But again, for someone like Wrexham, who have just come up, I think that is also another good one. So if you had Ryan Hardy and Kiefer Moore, I think you could have worse options up top.
It does replace Paul Mullen as well. They've let go two. They have let go of 2 strikers.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So at least it's an upgrade on Paul Mullen, Kiefer Moore.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. So yeah. So I think. But yeah, I think so. I actually here's one for you. Do you think this year all 3 promoted sides will stay up? Now, I'm not saying Birmingham will aim just for survival, because they won't. Wrexham will probably aim for higher than that. But I'd be amazed if, say, Charlton get red. I'd be amazed if we don't have. Well, maybe not amazed. I think all 3 of them will definitely at least be in the league next season.
I've got 3 worse teams that is worse than those 3.
Me as well, yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see your faces when I tell you who I've got in the relegation zone.
I know.
The only one that I think they could go down is Charlton, but I'll be surprised if they did.
Yeah, that's my opinion as well. I wouldn't be shocked if Charlton went down. I wouldn't be shocked if Charlton went down, but I don't think they will.
3 promoted clubs. It was Birmingham, Charlton, and Wrexham. Yeah. I think they'll all stay up. Yeah, I think one of them is definitely going to go and put a killing potentially on the playoffs. But I've got the other 2 roughly close to each other. I've only got them separated by 2 league positions.
So does that mean you put Charlton 17th then? I think
that's well done actually.
Well, no, because earlier you said you put Wrexham 15th.
Yeah, so, I've got Charlton 17th. Yeah.
Fair enough then.
Between 7 positions. I'm going to show my.
Well, to be fair, I put Charlton. Well.
I'm not saying where I've got Birmingham. That's purely because it'll set Ant off.
I'll put them 8.
Will we do this like 3 teams each time?
I've got them in 7.
So
why don't we say our top 6 and bottom 3 at the end?
All right, no. Do you know what?
It's just me.
Yeah, I'll start with the bottom 3, and then the top 6. Fair?
Okay.
Yeah, it's just me.
All right,
I'm happy with that.
Right, let's go around and see what our bottom 3 are.
Are you wanting to do everybody's 24th first, or everyone, or one person's bottom 3, another person's bottom 3, or?
Do you know what? Why we do? I feel we should do all all of our 24th places at once. Yeah.
So do you mean everyone does our 24th, then 23, then 22nd?
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. Yeah. All right.
Everyone's
Yeah, three places at once. Yeah, that's fine.
I'll start first then.
Ignore the fact Dan already knows mine, but we'll.
And I'll say this as a disclaimer: before anyone comes at me, I barely watch the Championship, so you can say what you want about me. I still don't give a fuck.
That's fair. All right. Right. So
go on then. 24th then.
I put Sheffield Wednesday. I think it's inevitable what's going on with the club. It's been a disaster when you let Danny Rowe go. You sack Danny Rowe and you put his assistant in charge. Then you're not paying the players and your assets stripping the club completely. What the hell is the EFL's doing? They're not doing nothing to deal with this situation to get Chasiri to sell the club. When he's had a couple of bids, he's rejected it. What And Banny is actually using his wages to pay the players that are still there. So
yeah, it's dangerous.
It's really dangerous at the moment what's going down at Hillsborough.
Was it Morecambe as well? Just been buggered as well in the lower divisions and that. So it's becoming a joke. Like,
it really
absolutely. For me, 24th is Sheffield Wednesday as well, and I think it's what can you say that hasn't been. Well, it's kind of just saying the same stuff that's been said. Chancery is a moron. They need to sell. Everywhere, everything's a joke at the minute. One of their North Stand, I think, has been closed due to self-safety concerns. Yeah. So that's another example of it. I'll tell you one thing. This might be a slightly unpopular opinion. I don't think now it's the end of the world that Danny Rowe left, because I think the way he went on at the end of last season maybe lose a bit of respect for him. I'm not going to lie. Now, I don't blame him for wanting to get out, because Chancery is the main problem. Absolutely is the main problem. He is one of the most deluded individuals in football I have ever seen in my life. With Sheffield Wednesday in their current state. Oh, by the way, I want 100 million quid. Ha, good one. Well done. So you're not going to get any. You'll be lucky to get half of that. But yeah, so the sooner that Muppet leaves the club, the better, because that's a fan base that's gone through the ringer for far too long. For me, Sheffield Wednesday should be a club that are competing to get into the Premier League. I'm saying not by automatics, but probably by playoffs, because in the current parachute system. But they're prevented because of that idiot alone. But having said that, I do think Danny Rowe deserves a bit of criticism for going on every radio station, every platform he can in Germany, and basically desperately highlighting his need to leave the club. There's a way you go about it, and for me, that wasn't very. And for me, that was not professional at all.
I know, but I think you get away with that more in your local language in Germany than you do in the UK, in England, and that's the problem. So you could get away with that a bit more.
Yeah, I do get that. Yeah, that is a fair point, but I do think if I was a Sheffield Wednesday fan, I would feel a bit aggrieved at that.
Yeah,
I think there is, but yeah, at the same time, again, he isn't the main problem. It is Chancery, and with everything that's gone. I mean, what was it? Michael Smith, I think, has gone to Preston. Yeah. You've got Josh Wynn. Sorry,
their under 16 player as well, Kadam Matiera. He went to Man City as well for about £1 million. So.
Well, that's it. And then there was obviously Gassama went to Rangers and I know for a fact a lot of their fans, I think,
I love him. What a player!
Oh yeah, he'll be great for Rangers when I've watched him, because I watched the Motherwell Rangers game yesterday. But my point was they got him for a fee that was, I believe, Sheffield fans felt should have been more, but that's not Rangers' problem. Obviously, you've got to get, from Sheffield point of view, that management's been shocking for years.
He's actually. I actually want, like, when you look at managers who were potentially leaving jobs at the end of the season to come up here. I actually wanted Danny Rowe ahead of like the twat that's in charge, but I actually do like Danny Rowe. He plays the type of football that I like.
And I think you've got to give Danny Rowe credit for when he kept Sheffield Wednesday up in the 23-24 season. When you look at the vast majority of that squad was like League One fodder. It was, and I think he did excellently to keep that team up. So I think, but with everything that's gone on, it says a lot that, I mean, he's eventually had a contract about bloody put in front of him. But when it says a lot, it says also a lot about Barry Bandon's attitude, that he's willing to, and how much he loves Sheffield, that he's willing to train with them, despite knowing that he's not under contract for weeks. But the fact that has only just got sorted and we've just barely got into August is a disgrace. So yeah, I actually think now Sheffield fans, and I don't think they should be having to have this question put to them. But I think if you offered them getting relegated, but they get rid of Chancery in the same season and get a new owner, as long as it's obviously not someone who's worse, then I think they would probably snap your hand off for that. And that's a real sad statement if that's true. Yeah. So yeah, I really do like them, but yeah, I think they'll go down because of the Muppet at the top.
Absolutely. Doug?
Yeah, I 100% agree. I've got 24th Sheffield Wednesday. I think all of us will probably have Sheffield Wednesday 24th because it's just a sad, sorry state of affairs that have happened at Sheffield Wednesday. And yeah, Chanzeri just has to bugger off as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, 24th Sheffield Wednesday, and I think they are probably destined to go down this season.
Yeah. And
yeah, can only echo what's been said. And something that's interesting that's come out today, because obviously we play them on the opening day. They're going to be doing this protest outside the King Power, and
I've
it
seen
looks like
about that. Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of Leicester fans apparently joining it as well.
good on them.
Nathan actually put that in the chat earlier on as well. He actually said a protest has been announced.
Yeah. So any Sheffield every Sheffield Wednesday fan or Leicester City fan, please join the protest next Sunday if you're going to be at the game next Sunday, which is at 4:30. So please consider that as well. Reece, I bet you put Sheffield Wednesday the same as well, 24th.
Yeah, they'll 22 down the League One, unfortunately. I feel sorry for them. I do. I feel sorry for clubs like that when they're financial straits. They're a decent club as well. It's a club of good history as well. So, yeah it's a shame. It's a damn shame for them. I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for their fans. I don't feel sorry for their owner. Their owner's a prick.
The fans is more important. Yeah.
I feel sorry for the fans and the players as well. Like the fact that Barry Bannon's been offered a new contract, which will then be contributing towards these players, is just crazy. Like how the hell they're going to pay for it, I don't know.
And just quickly, good on the players for potentially going on strike about all of these like unpaid stuff, with wages being unpaid, because enough's enough. The fact this has gone on for this long is just disgraceful.
Yeah.
Can I say who I feel really sorry for, by the way? And like the players not being paid is awful, but it's your everyday stuff, your people who
non-playing
are like,
staff, yeah,
your people like the cleaners, your people at the shop, the people who sort of work around the club. It's like those are the people who this is going to be really, really impacting. And again, the players not getting paid, like they will be able to survive a couple of months without being paid, without not having. They won't go without food on their table. They won't go without a roof over their head. Like the players should be getting paid, regardless. But it is those people that I worry about.
It's especially hard on non-playing staff. Yeah.
They've got to figure something out. I wouldn't be surprised if any of those players are actually maybe handing some of their money over. Like some players have done this before for other clubs that are in financial situations where the players have got money. They do give some money to non-playing staff. They need to figure this shit out because it's a joke. Like more and more of these clubs are in a situation, and it's the owners as well. Like, what the hell are these owners doing? Like, what the hell? Because their owner isn't he's not cheap. So what the heck is he doing? That's the thing.
It feels like now he's almost just trying to make a point.
But this the thing that Chansiri I don't think is either not considering or is considering and just doesn't give a shit about it. That
he's going on with Tan as well. So
well, yeah, I mean, it's a weird one because if you're mentioning Vincent Tan, it's like what's the photo of two retards fighting? Like and I'm half joking, half being serious about that. Like Defon Chansiri and Vincent Tan, it's like literally who can outshit the other. Who can be like the more disgraceful of the two of them? Well, I have to say probably at the moment, and Vincent Tan is horrendous. Don't get me wrong. Cardiff need to get rid of him as well. But at the minute, it does. We're not seeing as many stories about people not getting paid at Cardiff. Either we haven't seen it's not happening, or if it is happening, it's getting disguised in them. It's been hidden really, really well. But
I agree.
But when you look at what Chansiri was doing, he's also got to think here. Like, I know he probably won't care. I know obviously the relationship is right. They've been fractured past the point of anyone caring now. But he could have an opportunity to at least do one good thing by Sheffield Wednesday, and that is to hand off to someone who, regardless of how much money it is, to really hand off to someone who could secure the future of this football club. Like we said, they're a massive club with massive tradition, massive history behind them, huge, passionate fan base who sold out a lot of games, who had massive attendances in League One, who obviously it's Wembley is a bit different, but they took, I think they sold out their entire relegation at Wembley when they beat Barnsley in the League One playoff final 2 years ago. Like, what on earth is Chansiri doing here? Like, it seems like he's just prolonging this to the sake of, as Ant said, make a point, or dare I say, even do it to wind the Chef Wed fans up. I genuinely would not be shocked if that is his agenda. Yeah. So he needs to really think here. This is people's, not just the fans' livelihoods, but also non-playing staff's lives, effectively, that he's messing with by this going on. Also, although obviously, yes, the non-playing staff, it's particularly harmful for them, the players as well. That's still peace of mind for them. That still isn't good enough. And he has the audacity to charge ridiculously extortionate prices for Chef Wed, despite the fact that if they've been in League One for 2 of the last 4 seasons, just barely stayed up in the first year in the Championship, and finished top half. That was, in hindsight, looked like a really ridiculously overachievement for them. Not for them as a club, but for their state of where they're in under him. Like, Chansiri, get the fuck out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Just putting our game on the TV. I forgot to switch on.
Yeah,
no worries.
Yeah,
right.
we're playing Cunha up front, which is interesting. So
yeah, 23rd. Listen, I don't know what's going on at Hull City. The way the Gary Rule says when they grew closer going down last season, it's inevitable. This is going to happen. I really do. I just feel like the owners just, if you didn't get a real lead with senior, there would have been a chance you still would have got into the playoffs last year, the year before. I just, I don't know what to say on that one.
Yeah, I think Hull's my 23rd as well. I think
mine 23rd as well.
I think I promise, guys, we haven't looked at each other's predictions before we came on air. But watch Reece put them in like 4th or something. Now I've said that, but yeah, the thing with Hull is I don't think Rossini would have had them in the playoffs last year, because you've got to remember the players that they were in a similar situation to what Middlesbrough were in a year earlier. When Middlesbrough missed out on the playoffs, when Coventry beat them in the playoffs, the year Luton went up to the Prem, they lost Zach Steffen, Cameron Archer, Ryan Giles. There's a couple of other ones I'm missing here. Is it Jacob Ramsey? Or Aaron Ramsey? I can't. Which one of the Ramseys was that?
Jacob Greaves, and Jacob Ramsey.
No, it was not a Middlesbrough. I mean, a year ago, because I'm saying this. The one on loan from Villa. But the point is, they lost a lot of those loan players and almost had to start again to fill them up. And they sold Akpom then as well. Hull were in that exact same position a year ago when Delap left after being on loan there. Carvalho, Zavori, Giles obviously came back permanently, and obviously they sold Philogene and Greaves on top of that. That was a massive. No worries, Anne. Just seen Anne's laptop die, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But Hull lost a lot of that quality, and I think last season was always going to be a big drop off. But the thing for me that really baffled me was sacking Ruben Sayers at the end of last season. Even Hull fans were saying that, from what I saw, that was a poor decision. Obviously, I don't trust the ownership at Hull to make the right calls, because obviously they decided to sack Liam Rossini, but then thought Tim Volter would be a good appointment. I'm like, well, Tim Volter said he wanted to play heart attack football. Well, does he mean heart attack in an entertaining way, or heart attack in a go down to League One way? Because I'll tell you one of the goals you need to look at. I mean, you know what Doug thinks about this. Like, one of the goal we scored against Hull at the KCOM last season when Wilson Isidore scored the counter attack. That is an example of Tim Volter's tactics, where he just basically leaves 10 men up front for a corner and just goes, "What on earth are you doing?" But Tim Volter was a disastrous appointment from the word go, and Sayers did really well too. And we look at Hull squad; it's not exactly blessed with the best amount of quality, in my opinion.
No.
So, and I think sacking Sayers was an absolute disgrace. So I'm of the opinion I think they'll go down as well. They've got them in my 23rd place.
Top tier comment by Ant, by the way. Ruben Sayers fell upwards.
Yeah, he's got a point. He's right.
He's not.
Went upwards.
No, it's true. He's not wrong. If I definitely have a totally different team to you guys from 24th. Just saying.
I've got Hull in 23rd. I think the manager they brought in is a completely unknown. I've never heard of him. Sergei Razidovic or something like that.
Yeah.
Glad you pronounced that name and not me.
I just think with what's going on at Hull as well, I just think that I look at what's happened with them, and I thought they were lucky to stay up last season. And I just think it's just coming at them where it's like they probably have sort of outlasted their stay in the Championship, and I think maybe going down to League One, like Sheffield Wednesday, will help them get better ownership, because the owners at Hull and Sheffield Wednesday are a disgrace.
Yeah, do you know what? You should watch HTIC Sevens, because he's a big Hull fan, and I did watch his recent video.
His content is so good.
He is so good. His content is so good, and I will put a link to that, because I think you guys need to watch it I don't understand the frustration that what's going on because the club's under transfer embargo as well too. So it's a huge,
That's another quick thing when you mentioned transfer embargo. That's another problem with Sheffield Wednesday as well. They've got a
Same.
transfer embargo for the next 3 windows, I think it is.
Yeah.
So
Reece, who you got? 23rd.
I've got Derby.
Ooh.
That is a shout.
Yeah, I've got Derby. To be honest, I've got right beside me on my like free monitors, which is just I just love free monitors. I do have last season's league table beside it as well, besides my own predictions as well. So I've actually based them on both side by side. When I look at it, Derby. When I look at the 3 teams that got relegated last season, like Luton, Plymouth, and Cardiff, I mean they were all equally shit. But like Derby were not particularly great as well throughout the league, and I've never once been consistently confident in terms of like Derby doing well at football. Like they're like a team who are just lucky to be playing football that aren't a football team. Like that, they're just an oddball. I think when you look at other teams around them, I just don't think they're going to stay up at all. I don't think they're good enough in general. Like when I look at like performances across seasons, so yeah.
I totally disagree with you.
I know you do. Like I said,
I'll back. I must admit, I'm the same. I'd be amazed if Derby get relegated. Personally,
like I say, I come in here with chaos.
Oh,
that's fair enough. You're bold. That's a good thing.
First things first. John Eustace was probably the most informed manager last season.
That's true.
Going from basically Blackburn, who were really in the sort of the promotion hunt,
that was a
strange
let go from him.
There were eyebrows raised when he went to Derby, but I think when you look at what he's done, his football may not be effective on the eye. It's kind of eye-watering at times as well, but it's effective. They've just signed Ryan Brewster as well, which I think is another fantastic signing. Honestly, I think Derby could well be higher. This season.
They could, to be fair. They could.
I think you might need to rethink that. To be honest, because I just can't see Derby in any relegation trouble.
I'd love to, but once I've said it, I just can't.
Though we can hear you echo in the background actually, because you don't get your headset on.
Yeah, there was echo in my background as well, but I've just put my earphones in, so hopefully that's cured that.
I don't know who it was, to be fair, but I could hear a little bit. It doesn't really matter. To be fair, if it makes matters worse, I have put Hull in the relegation zone as well. Just saying, I've not ignored Hull's situation. Like they are going down.
Actually,
after all that, he puts it. Fair enough. Yeah. The thing I think my 2 cents on Derby is I actually originally when I did the video with Ant because I had but bear in mind I had about an hour to think about what I was gonna do for the predictions. But whereas now I've had a chance to look at what they've done. And really think about it. Originally, I had Derby in 18th, but then when I looked back at their business, I think one of the biggest things I've been impressed with is John Eustace. Now, John Eustace, for me, I think Derby are a dark horse. There's two teams in mind that I've got that I think are going to be potential dark horses this season, for challenging for playoffs. Not saying finish in them, but challenge for them.
Challenging, yeah.
One's Derby and the other's Millwall.
Yeah.
Derby, for me, I mean, if you look at the signs they made, Danny Bart, I think, is a good experienced centre-back at this level. I think Andres Weiman's a solid option up front for them. I really like the signing of Carlton Morris, who they signed, obviously, from Luton in the summer. I think Ryan Brewster, like Doug said, I think that's actually a pretty decent shout. I think that he had a lot of pressure on him at Sheffield United for the fee that Liverpool got for him from Sheffield United. I think a Derby going on a free, I think he'll give him a bit more freedom to play his game. But John Eustace is the big one. I think and funny enough, actually, just for the sake of like doing a bit of research here, I'm looking at the team that where is it? That say Derby's last game of last season was a 0-0 draw against Stoke. Me and Carl remember talking about this on the final review show last season. Derby and Stoke obviously needed a point to stay up. Yeah. So I'm looking at this squad. I'm looking at Vickers, Langas, Phillips, Clark, Wilson, Thompson, Armstrong, Adams, Forsyth, Jerry Yates, and I think is it Marcus Harness? No, yeah, Marcus Harness. So there's a couple of decent players in there, but John Eustace came in mid-season and kept that team up. And for me, I think
with a bit of more quality in there, I'll be. And fair play to Reece for being bold. To be fair, I like that. Fair play to him for going against the grain. But I think Derby will be top half more than the bottom one. And just quickly for Millwall, if I'm for an unsung shout, I think Alex Neil's a big. Big dub. I love that. Yeah, like
he's a good guy, Werner.
Yeah, but you know what? To be fair, I think Millwall, Alex Neil will fit that club really, really well. I think obviously Josh Coburn coming in, Alfie Doughty coming in, Luongo coming in. I think that's really 3 solid signings, and I think Alex Neil knows what to do in the Championship, unless of course it's at Stoke, but everyone seems to fail there. So yeah, and obviously that's me complimenting him because Carl knows how much I don't like Alex Neil. So for the way he walked out on Sunderland to go to Stoke. So but either way, those are my insights. But yeah, I would be completely surprised. I mean, it could happen that Derby go down, but I'd be amazed if Derby are in that conversation this season.
That's fair point.
I think we've just been given a penalty. I'm just checking this now. Actually, hold on.
Is there a VAR giving a penalty or checking?
No, it's a penalty. Tarkowski drags Diallo down like that's a penalty. Just give it to him. Buemos gets.
Oh, maybe I might watch it if Ahmad's playing.
Oh, Ahmad's playing. He's just won the penalty.
Oh, that's another thing. Can someone just put
No.
this Ahmad? Can everyone just go? Everyone just go. Ahmad. Everyone goes. Oh, Ahmad Diallo come back to Sunderland. That's not happening. Shut up. Stop talking about it. It isn't happening.
It is not happening. Oh no, it's Fernandez is staying in. Never mind. But yeah, like you're not having him. Go get someone else. Go get someone who may improve you, like I don't know, Ryan Kent.
Fuck.
Oh yeah. Harvey Elliott. We'll go for him.
Right? That name's been answered to Michael when he's been linked, so forget that.
Yeah, no, I've been. A lot of our fans are somehow thinking that, like, deluding themselves and thinking it is. Oh, it'll happen. No, it won't. Just shut up.
Absolutely.
But anyway, no, go on. Who's everyone's 22nd?
It's Hull for me.
Preston. I don't know.
Preston as well.
Yeah. Listen, if you're bloody, how are you gonna put on the system under Paul Heckenbottom? They look lost. They just focused too much last season on the FA Cup run, and it just didn't help them.
Go on,
Doug.
Do you know the thing as well with Preston? I watched them in pre-season against Liverpool, and they actually looked decent to a point. But actually, when you look at what they actually did in the end, like losing 3-1, they were way too open. Honestly, Paul Heckenbottom plays this expansive style of football. They are screwed.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that was one of the reasons that I think I've got Preston to go down, because I think as well, like, the big problem with Preston was that last season they obviously struggled. They scraped survival on the final day of the season, and it was, as like Carl said, I think they almost kind of went, yay, this FA Cup run's great. Wait, we've got another 2 months to play. Oh shit, we might get relegated. Right, let's actually raise our efforts a little bit, and that's okay. We finish like 20th or whatever it is. So I think the big problem for me with Preston is that, yeah, Paul Heckenbottom plays a certain way. And Preston's squad has been adjusted to playing Ryan Lowe's style of play, which, as everyone who follows the Championship knows, it is two completely different philosophies. It's 2 completely different ways of playing. Now, that might be Ryan Lowe being pragmatic to what he's had to work with at Preston, but yeah, I'm not convinced by Paul Heckenbottom at Preston. I don't know if it's the right fit. And one of the things as well, and although he might not be the best player all round, their top scorer, Reece, is left on a free to join Bristol City.
Yeah.
And they've replaced him with Michael Smith, who
I haven't. I'm sitting right here.
Yeah, why not? But yeah, well, Michael Smith joins Manchester United. What a... Oh, that face was worth it. But yeah. But like, no, Michael Smith is a very top League One level player. I'm still not convinced he's good enough for the Championship.
Guys, what do you think? Anyway, 22nd. Doug, you said Preston as well.
Yeah, I just echo what I just said. I just think this style of football is going to give Paul Heckenbottom nightmares, to be honest with you. So yeah, I think they're a bit lucky last season, to be honest. I think they were really a bit unlucky to stay up. So I'm going to say I think this could be their time to go down.
Not surprising. Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Reece?
Hull for me. I still think Hull are in the relegation fight. I don't think Hull have got a fair chance of staying up. I think the reality as well is, I think another thing that's been overlooked, and obviously he's away elsewhere and he's doing really well, is that not having a manager like Liam Rosenior anymore as well was another big loss for them. Even with a bad squad, he still actually outperforms other teams in terms of management. So that's another thing. Forget your finances; it's your manager.
Yeah,
It's a huge loss, Liam Rosenior. So yeah, I think they're in dire straits, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, they are. They absolutely are. Right, should we do the top 6 then?
Ferner in the chat, he's a good guy. Like, you all fear Oxford. No, we don't fear Oxford, but I do have them coming up very shortly in terms of prediction, though. Sadly.
Yeah. Right, let's do our top 6 then. Do from 6th to 1st then.
Ooh, all right. I'll say mine. I'll say mine quickly so I can then stay silent. I've got Bristol City in 6th, Sheffield United in 5th, Blackburn 4th, Leicester 3rd, Southampton 2nd, Ipswich 1st.
Okay.
All right then. Is it Reece going? Does that Reece just saying then staying silent?
Yeah, I've got the top 3 all promoted though.
I've got 6th Leicester City, 5th Coventry City, 4th Birmingham City, 3rd Sheffield United, 2nd Southampton, 1st Ipswich.
Ant is going to tombstone pile drive you.
Yeah.
He's going to kill you. That you put Coventry above Leicester. Oh, that's.
Listen, he's gonna have to kill us both because 6th I have put Birmingham City.
Okay.
5th Leicester City. 4th Coventry City.
Oh, Leicester Cup semi-finals. Oh, happy some of that.
Yeah. 3rd
Carnage.
Sheffield United. 2nd, I put Southampton. And to finish the top, I can't look but beyond Ipswich Town.
Oh, this is absolute. This is hilarious. That's so we've all effectively agreed that Will still is going to be 2nd place when Will still keeps playing boring football when Will still aiming for a playoff. Love it. John Miller's in the chat says Coventry top of the championship.
Well, it means competing at the top for like playoffs. Then yeah, I agree. Okay, my top 6. So I think my top 6 is slightly different. 6th, I've gone for Norwich City. I think there you go. Reece is going to be like,
for God's sake.
There we go. He's gone.
This is what I didn't want to put one of the strip of clubs. I don't put Sheffield United in there. I know that's but when it's like Norwich, who's been in a lot, no, I had to.
Joe, right? I think a lot of people. I think if you look at it, I wouldn't be shocked if Birmingham were in the playoffs. But I stand by the fact that I do think their chances are slightly overestimated, ever so slightly. I think a lot of people underestimate what Norwich's business has done. I think one of the biggest things they've done is Liam Manning coming in. So I'm going to argue the case. Liam Manning, for me, is one of the most underrated managerial appointments. He got Bristol City, and if you don't believe me, go and watch Annie's content. Go listen to Annie talk about Bristol City. He'll tell you exactly the same thing. Bristol City have been constantly mid-table nothingness for years in the Championship. Liam Manning came in, and bear in mind in a season where he lost his newborn son as well, which God knows how traumatic that would have been for him and his family to go through, he still managed to navigate Bristol City into finishing into the playoffs. He's now going to a club that has got bigger resources that I would consider probably bigger than Bristol City. Sorry, Annie. But I think if you're looking at it like that, I think Liam Manning will have a good shout at doing well at Norwich. Norwich are historically more or less at the top of the pyramid in the Championship than Bristol City have been within recent sort of seasons, because I could see Reece's face there. But I think Liam Manning coming in is a really good shout. I think Harry Darling's a sensible signing. Jacob Wright, who performed exceptionally well for them. Jacob Wright exceptionally performed well for them at the end of last season, has joined on a permanent. Jeffrey Schlupp for some experience within there. Obviously, the big thing is whether they keep Josh Sargent or not. That's obviously because there was a move to Wolfsburg that was going to happen there. That's obviously fell through. But I think even then, some of Norwich's signings look like really exciting to me. And I think that when you look at Norwich, although they finished, 13th in the end, I think that was a gross underachievement for some of the quality within their squad. Yeah. So I'm of the opinion that I think Norwich, with Liam Manning, is the thing that really sets me off. That I think Norwich will get into 6th, or if they don't, they should be battling right to the end for playoffs. Me. Fifth, I have put Coventry. Now, I think that obviously the thing that's interesting with Coventry, apart from the fact they always try to force rivalries, and they still haven't let go of the fact that we've beaten them in the playoffs, even though that they always beat us beforehand and they can't take a defeat against us. Either way, but moving that aside, hard. But apart from that, taking my trying to talk a bit of sense about them. Kesler Hayden looks an interesting signing. I think that's pretty good. I think he was now. Am I right in thinking he was Preston's player of the season, when I can get my words out properly?
Yes.
Either that, or he performed exceptionally very well for them at the very least. So they've obviously seen enough in him that he's got championship experience and has signed him from Aston Villa on a permanent, which is really good for them. I could kind of get what who was it? Was it Andrew said that he didn't rate Coventry's sort of defence? I think Kesler Hayden's a good signing. I think Kitchen and Thomas are all right at centre half.
But Lewis Binks, who's gone,
Lewis Binks, yeah. Jay De Silva, I think he could get worse than him at left back. I think. I think who's the keeper they signed from Brighton? Is it Carl Rushworth?
Yeah,
they've signed. Okay, so obviously that was a big shot. You couldn't have Brad Collins in goal, could you, for them, really? But the thing that excites me the most, their midfield is one that I think is probably underrated for the level. Ben Sheaf, Matt Grimes, Jack Radoni. I think they are three very solid options, especially for a non-parachute team. Within the setup, Sakamoto and Ephraim Mason-Clark on either side, and then obviously you've got up front, you've got the likes of look. Ellis Sims is getting pelters from Coventry fans, but I stand by to this day, he is not a shit striker if you get the ball right to him and you play it within his strengths. Haji Wright, I think obviously the issue with him is consistency. Like if you look, for example, there was a header against Sunderland in the second leg of the playoffs that really he should have at least got on target, and it was poor for him that he didn't. But when Haji Wright is on it, if you can get him on it enough, then I think Haji Wright is one of the best strikers in the league, or at least underrated ones. And then obviously you've got Thomas Asante, who I think there's worse options to have within the Championship. The biggest thing with Coventry for me, they can't start crap. And the last few seasons, they've always had this problem where that eventually cost Mark Robbins his job there, is that they always tend to start shit. And then by the time the second half of the season comes around, they either just scrape into the playoffs or it's too late for them because of how poor their start was. With Lampard, there was obviously question marks when he went in, and to some degree fairly, but I do think people were harsher on him than I think he deserved when you look at some of the clubs he actually managed. And given the fact he managed a lot within the Premier League, so he clearly can't be that bad if he's been managing in there. And even with Everton, with the basket case they are, he still managed to at least keep them up. Now, you can say every manager's done that, but still, I think that Lampard at Coventry, I think, is actually a pretty decent fit. I think as well, if you look at the run of form they had, when and you can say, oh, well, he just took them into where the playoffs where they should be. He took them from 17th to 5th within 6 months. Like, I don't think that should be ignored or underestimated. Now, if they start well, then I think I'll be really surprised if Coventry do not make the top 6.
Well,
personally.
here's the question. Here's a big part. Does Milan van Eyck leave by the end of the transfer window?
Possibly, but that'll be why the Kesler Hayden was probably signed, in case that does happen. But it's a fair point to make. And look, obviously, my memory of Van Eyck was when he made the mistake in the first leg for when Eliza Mayenda went through and scored. But in general, he performs very well for Coventry, I believe. So I think for me, I think Doug King, the owner's deserves some credit for this, because when Mark Robbins was sacked, there was a lot of discontent from Coventry fans about that decision. Not all of them, because I think some of them might have felt that he took them as far as he could have done. But I also feel like he let his head rule his heart there, I think. And ultimately, it's worked. Lampard came in and under a bit of scrutiny and came in, and while it wasn't pretty straight away, he ended up getting the results to get them into the playoffs. For me, Coventry, out of the non-parachute teams, are the best side. The non-parachute teams, for me, are the squad that I think should be within 5th. But anyway, sorry, not to keep you waiting, listening to me waffle. 4th, I've gone for Sheffield United. Now, I think Sheffield United, the big question mark for them is, how are they going to recover from losing the playoff final? What was it, just over 2 months ago? Yeah. That's going to be, because that can be a big mental hangover. But maybe, unless you Leeds United, in which case the following year you just get 100 points.
Well, that's the thing. But them not doing the recruitment properly, they're not recruiting. They signed Louis Barry from Aston Villa, which is good. But where are you expecting more signings if you only sign 3 other players who we don't even know are under 20?
I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, as well, and you got to remember they've lost Kiefer Moore as well. They've obviously let Liam Brewster's left. I don't know whether that was his decision or Sheffield United's or a mutual consent agreement thing. Vinny Souza, that's a big loss. I think Vinny Souza is a big loss for them. The big thing for me is whether they keep Gustavo Hamer. Now, obviously, Gustavo Hayman's had his problem with injuries, hasn't he? But if you look at in the playoff final, when Sheffield United were in the first 30 minutes, he was pretty much running the show for them, I think. And to some degree, I think it was because Sunderland dominated the last 30 minutes. But I also think Gustavo Hayman coming off, there probably wasn't much coincidence in the fact that when he went off, they instantly got worse. Now, if they keep Gustavo Hayman, I think that's a really good thing for them. But we'll wait and see with that one. Hamza Chowdhury, obviously, who played it right back for them. He's obviously back at Leicester now, so obviously he probably won't be returning. Harry Suter, obviously, I know that they didn't have him for the second half of last season pretty much anyway, but that's a huge loss for them, so he's not going to end up being there. And the big thing for me, I mean, Louis Barry, as Carl mentioned before, I do think is a solid signing at championship level, and Ruben Sayers actually knows him from his time at Hull. And he was unlucky with injury there, that a big injury kept him out for 3/4 of his 6-month loan there. But I think the thing is for me, I actually don't think Sayers will be a bad appointment for Sheffield United. I don't think he'll do enough to get them into the top 2, because I think that the 3 teams above them will be too strong, in my opinion. But I do think he should also have enough to get them into 4th. My biggest issue, and obviously the big thing is Chris Wilder's gone. Now, take away my feelings towards him. My problem with Chris Wilder, as Carl knows, and I mention this every damn week, but Doug's probably heard me say it enough times. My thing with Sheffield United last season under Chris Wilder was so much the fact that I think they constantly got lucky with a lot of their results. I think a lot of it was there wasn't a distinctive style of play. It was pretty much just let the individuals win them the games. And that for me is not sustainable. And I know they got 92 points, but for me that was a vast overperformance based on their performances. I think if Sayers gets a tune, and I'm talking a style of play tune out of these players, it's still not a bad squad to work with. There's obviously holes in the centre-back area that they need to fill. They could probably do with another winger, probably one out wide, and maybe another midfielder within there, and obviously now another striker with Kiefer Moore leaving. Tyrese Campbell obviously did really well for them last season. Michael Cooper, I think, is arguably the best goalkeeper in the division. If Matt Hermanson obviously leaves Leicester, I think there's a good shout that Michael Cooper will be performing really well for them. I think Sheffield United will get 4th, but I think the other 3 teams will be stronger. And obviously for them, they're in a similar situation to what Leeds were last season, because I remember Carl telling me last year, if Leeds did not get promoted, they were basically buggered, because they obviously lose their parachute payments, and then obviously they sort of descend into the non-parachute realms of the Championship, which is exciting for nobody, I am sure. So Sheffield United, if they don't go up this year, then it's going to be a big couple of years after that for them. 3rd is Leicester, and the only reason I put them there is just because if they get a points deduction. If they don't, the disclaimer is that changes and they will get 2nd for me. But as of right now, I get 3rd. I've already said my piece on Leicester, so I'll not go on too long. Southampton will still. I'll let Reece do the will still puns. I can't be bothered at this point. But Southampton, I think 2nd, but it's a question mark 2nd because of, for me, whether Southampton, if Southampton will finish 2nd, if Leicester get a points deduction, if Leicester don't, Southampton get 3rd. Yeah. And then for every reason I've said before, Ipswich win the league. So my top 6, just to recap quickly: 6th Norwich, 5th Coventry, 4th Sheffield United, 3rd Leicester, 2nd Southampton, and 1st Oxford United for big dub. No, joking. Obviously Ipswich.
I'll be honest. I was toying between the idea of having Norwich in my top 6 as well.
I will say, by the way, Birmingham in my picture is just below them. It's neck and neck between the 2 of them for me as well.
I mean, I've got I'll tell you my 7th to 9th, because this was really, really tricky for me to decide.
This area is so congested in the league, isn't it? Like I wouldn't be surprised between 6th and 9th or 10th. It's separated by less than 5 points.
So I had 7th Norwich City.
So did I.
I do think that they will just miss out. 8th I've had Millwall. I think it's just going to be another case of nearly for them. I hope they manage to do it, because I think Alex Neil knows that league really, really well. And then 9th, I mean, as I said, these 3 could have been any position. I've gone Middlesbrough. I do think Rob Edwards will do a good job with Middlesbrough.
I put Middlesbrough one place below Doug, actually.
Well, what's your 7th to 9th, Carl?
My 7th is Norwich, 7th West Brom, 8th Swansea, 9th.
Swansea?
Well, I'll tell you what, I find it interesting because 7th for me is Birmingham, 8th is Middlesbrough, 9th is West Brom. But I will want to stress I have Millwall just right below that. For me, it goes far down as 10th or 11th. I think that is going to be a close battle for playoffs. I actually agree with Doug. I don't get this negativity about Rob Edwards at all. No. I know his last 6 months at Luton were absolutely shocking. But put it into context. you're judging 6 months against the previous 2 seasons of what he did before that. That's not exactly. I don't think. I think too many people are overlooking that completely. He got Luton Town promoted to the Premier League. I want to repeat that. He got Luton Town promoted to the Premier League.
And where was he before at Luton? He was at Watford. And what did Watford do? Sack him. And then months later.
And Watford sack everybody. So, it's. Actually, I tell you what, if anybody wants to get rich really quickly, just go and be Watford manager for a month. And you get sacked, you get a big fat payoff. There you go, set for life. Yeah. So, with Rob Edwards, I think with Luton, he did really well to get them promoted. He has done one, even though, obviously, look, they ended up going down, I do accept that. And in the end, if it weren't for Forest points deduction, it might have not been as close as what the table would suggest. But they still finished above Burnley and Sheffield United, who both pissed the league by comparison to Luton the year before. Luton obviously gave themselves, and Luton didn't disgrace themselves in the Premier League ultimately. I think it's fair to say. They gave it a really good go, and for a club that probably weren't expected to do anything, and I'd imagine a lot of people would have expected to finish bottom the year before. Now, obviously, the last 6 months has been, well, shite. There's no getting away from that, but I think something obviously must have gone on behind the scenes. But for me, that 6 months at Luton last season should not erase what happened before then. The biggest problem with Middlesbrough, I think for me, the biggest thing for me with Middlesbrough, I do think when we talk about over it, I think Annie in particular, I know, was very high on Middlesbrough. I never understood when people kept putting Middlesbrough in the top 2 races in the Championship. I think that was overrating them. I don't think they were going to be anywhere near consistent enough for that. But I do think when you look at some of their squad, like, look at Morgan Whittaker, Finn Azaz, Tommy Conway. Obviously, Hayden Hackney, there's a big question mark around him at the minute. There's another one. Alfie Jones have signed from Hull, I believe it is. They've got some pretty good attacking players there. Obviously, I mean, Chuba Akpom. I mean, there's been apparently they're in advanced discussions to try and sign Chuba Akpom. If they get him to compete with Tommy Conway or them two, their options, you'd be hard pressed to find many non-parachute teams who have better options than that up front. I'll tell you, like Chuba Akpom and Tommy Conway, I think are two really good shouts. So I think Rob Edwards will do a better job than people think. And 9th, West Brom. Obviously, I think it's Ryan Mason who's in charge there now. So, yeah, I mean, the big signing they made, I think it was Nat Phillips they signed from Liverpool this summer, I believe. So I'm keen to see how West Brom get on with. I think they've obviously got, like, Josh Madger's still there, is it Tom Fellows?
Tom Fellows,
It's, how long he's still there for, I have no idea. But I'm fascinated to see how that happens. And then, obviously, Millwall. I think Millwall will be a dark horse. I think, like I said, Josh Coburn probably suits Millwall more than Borough. Alfie Dougherty, I think that's a solid signing for Millwall. The one goal. So yeah, but this is my point. This is why this league is so damn hard to predict, because between 6th and I think it'll be the top 4 the parachute teams. I think Coventry will maybe have a few point margin in 5th, and I think between 6th to like 10th, or you can even say 5th to like 10th. It's so tight. Like I said earlier, I genuinely wouldn't be shocked if 6th to 10th was separated by less than half a dozen points.
Yeah, that's a fair point, actually. Is there anyone left? Reece, I know you gave yours, didn't you, already?
7th to 9th I haven't. I've got Coventry 7th. I've got Stripper Club Central, Norwich in 8th. And I've got Birmingham in 9th.
Okay, yeah. That's not a bad shot, actually.
I think I do agree, like, in terms of like signings they've made, and obviously in League One were strong. But then again, you're spending 50 million in a division that you should never spend more than 5 million in. Let's be real. When you come into the Championship and you've bought a 50 million pound player who isn't even a 50 million pound player, and he's a decent player to be fair, but like, it's still not. It still doesn't justify the expenditure. I think from a realistic standpoint, they need to get results early and they need to do fast. But I think they will potentially come down a little bit. Obviously, Werner asking the question, like, out of all the top 6 teams as well, which do you think will utterly collapse? I know I've got them in 2nd place, but to be fair, I think the most obvious example is Southampton. If it doesn't go well for Will Still at the very start of the season, they could utterly collapse. So Will Still, end of the day, will he collapse? We'll find out. So there you go. But yeah, I have Coventry, Norwich, Birmingham. That's what I think of the 7th, 8th, 9th. That's what I think. I actually have, if I'm going to be honest, I've got Millwall in 10th.
Same as me, fair enough.
And I've got West Brom, then Middlesbrough.
I'll tell you what, to answer Dub's question, out of my top 6 teams, who I think is most likely to collapse, probably Sheffield United, because they're in a they're in a sort of, like I said before, they're in a similar situation to what Leeds were in terms of second-year parachute payments, the last year of parachute payments. If they don't get promoted, then I think they're going to be in big trouble financially. Not to the point like of obviously Sheffield Wednesday or anything like that, but I mean like for the finances they had access to up to this point, they would have had access to significantly less afterwards. So, but the difference is between, say, Sheffield United and Leeds is that I think Leeds' squad was still much better than what Sheffield United had, and I think they had much better options. I think they had a better manager, quite frankly, at championship level. Although I think Sayers will do all right, but I do think there's going to be. I think Sheffield United would be extremely interesting if they did not go up this season. But yeah, if any of my top 6 collapse, I'd say Sheffield United.
I genuinely look away for 2 minutes. I didn't realise that Everton had equalised. What the fuck? Genuinely did not realise it. Yeah, so it's 1-1 now.
I'll give you my 10th to 15th if you want. So 10th I've got West Brom. 11th I've got Derby County. 12th I've got Swansea. 13th I got Bristol City. 14th Wrexham, and then 15th Pompey.
Okay.
I've kind of been harsh to Swansea, but that's just because I just think it's entertainment. I have Swansea further down the league. I'll let you guys try and guess, put it that way. But put it this way, they're not in 10th to 15th, that's all I'm saying. That's just because it's just pure entertainment purposes, that's all. I've got them below Wrexham. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
For banter. It's for banter purposes only.
Banter purposes only, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely, but if I'm being quickly and straight shooting, 10th to 15th.
He's not going to be happy. You know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm straight shooting, my 10th to 15th is Millwall, West Brom, Middlesbrough, Portsmouth, Watford, Wrexham.
Okay, that's fair. My 10th to 15th was Borough, Millwall, Bristol City, Watford, Wrexham, and Derby County.
All right then. For the sake of being quick, was it 10th to 15th we were doing?
Yeah.
Right. 10th I went Millwall. Then after 11th Derby, 12th Bristol City, 13th Wrexham. So I'm joining Reece in this. 14th Swansea, and then 15th QPR.
All right.
Wow.
Should we just quickly do 16th to 21st while we're at it?
Yeah.
I've done most of this, so might as well do the full thing.
Yeah. I got QPR. 17th Stoke, 18th Blackburn Rovers, 19th Pompey, 20th Oxford, 21st Charlton Athletic.
16th Blackburn, 17th Watford. I think a lot of people are overestimating Watford, I'll be honest. I don't think that manager will last until at least October.
No, he won't last till September 1st.
I ain't convinced.
Well, the quickest record for someone getting sacked. Watford manager has been sacked after the first game of the season after they lost 2-0.
Would surprise me.
18th QPR. 19th for the most bipolar side in Championship history, Stoke City, because they are the most predictable team you could probably predict right now. So yeah, I think that 20th Oxford and then 21st Charlton. I think Charlton will survive, and if I'm being honest, I think all three of them do survive.
Yeah. Okay. So mine, I may as well go through it. So 16th to 21st, I've got Swansea, Charlton, QPR, Oxford, Preston, Stoke.
All right then. Let's complete a lot. 16th Blackburn, 17th Watford, and in my notes I just wrote down one word: chaos. The end. 18th Portsmouth, 19th Stoke. I think Stoke are just like. How many times have we had that? I think
Stoke are dead. Like, let's
Stoke
put it this way.
Stoke. At this point, when you speak of Stoke, it used to be like you associate with Tony Pulis style football, but doing all right in the Premier League. Now, if you speak about Stoke, it's literally 14th to 19th in the Championship.
Gone are the days of Rory Delap throw-ins to Ricardo Fuller or Kenwyne Jones for peak entertainment. It's all gone now.
Do you know what the thing? Because my sister used to know Kenwyne Jones' wife, and actually, because he's a fit, because my sister worked for Selfridges in Manchester.
Yeah.
And Kenwyne used to come, your wife come around because Tariq was their concierge, so she used to help out with the stuff and all that.
Yeah.
And I could get some of Kenwyne's old clothes when I was quite young. That fit me quite well. Actually.
Small world.
I know.
But do you know the thing is, right? But I think Carl will know this, and I said this to Carl and actually over the last 2 seasons. At some point, someone has got to go have Stoke surely competing for better than just top of the bottom third of the Championship. Like, it's just ridiculous. And I think if I'm right in saying this, since they got relegated in 2018 to the Championship, they have not once even been in the top half. Not once. I think their highest position is something like 14th. So I think personally, Stoke 19th. I'm not convinced with their signings either. Sorba Thomas and Aaron Cresswell are the two that I'm looking at. Mark Robbins seems decent enough for Coventry. Whether he does well enough at a club outside of it, but is it going to be the same cycle of a manager keeps the club up, then starts next season shit, then they get sacked, then someone else comes in, has a honeymoon period, then wobbles a bit, then keeps them up, and then the cycle starts all over again. Like, at some point, and I think another, there's not much more to say on that one. Stoke 19th. 20th, I've got Charlton, and then 21st, Oxford. I think what's keeping Oxford up for me at the minute is Gary Rowett. I think Gary Rowett is a really solid appointment for them. And he's another one. Their owners deserve a bit of credit for the fact they sacked Des Buckingham when it was unpopular at the time, but it's their head rather than their heart. And Gary Rowett, for me, was the reason that they stayed up last season. So just quickly, 16th Blackburn, 17th Watford, 18th Portsmouth, 19th Stoke, 20th Charlton, and 21st Oxford United.
Okay. Well. Do you know what? We just got one message here from Chris. Why none of you point at Hull finished 12th December onwards when Mass Images? Will the scores were better? There will be. That's Chris. I understand, but the problem is when you have a manager when you have an owner, that doesn't know, that keeps sacking managers when they fail to play, you want to play attacking football, or who should be above the table. You know, it's hard for the whole fans to say, how can we need to back a manager that gives us stability, not the other way around.
I think my response to that question would be, who was in charge during that time period? Ruben Sellers. What happened? You sacked him at the end of the season. I can get the point. There's a couple of. I mean, one example of a whole player I really like is Liam Miller, who was on loan at Preston the year before last. I actually think that's not bad. I think he's a decent player for Hull. But and to be fair to him, he was unlucky with injuries. But I think the point is that Hull, I think there's too much instability going on there. I think there's too much. I think Hull blew their chance when they had Carvalho on loan, when they had Zavori on loan, Giles on loan, even though he came back permanently, but Delap on loan as well, although to be fair, injured. But then they had like Philogene and Greaves and stuff like that. That was the chance they had to try and get promoted. And this is an example of why you can't just go and splash on wages or spunk money on transfer fees and stuff like that, because they had to sell Philogene and Greaves to balance the books with PSR, otherwise they would have been in trouble. That one failed attempt has set them back for so long. And I think and I just think I don't rate their owners' decision making. I don't.
That's the thing. I've got nothing against Hull in that situation. But I don't. But I look at the situation. It's similar to other clubs. If your owners are an absolute shit show, it doesn't matter what players you've got. Even if you've got injuries, top down can really impact situations. And I think they are one of a few that do need to get free from those above. But that's the mannerisms of it, and I think they are unfortunate by what they've got above. It's just a circumstance, but injuries are horrible. But they don't exactly have a squad that's going to go and do better. I mean, it's not that's another thing. Like, are you telling me that Hull City are better than 5 or 6 teams above them in that same division? Sorry, but I don't think they are.
No.
I think, to be fair though, to play a bit of devil's advocate here, it's not beyond the realms of possibility he'll do really well. I mean, if you look at how many clubs,
of course,
you know, this is the Championship. It is literally probably the most impossible league to get precisely accurate in the world. If you're lucky, you've got a couple of positions for. Like, for example, last season predictions, I had Leeds and Burnley exactly in that order in top 2, but I probably got most of the league wildly wrong anyway. So Not a chance that I think Luton would go down. Not a chance that I think Cardiff would.
I mean, it's predictions. It's not like we're here to play. We're not here playing for crystal ball. So we're playing a crystal ball. Exactly. I would have saved a few things by now.
Exactly. Unless it's like an example of Stoke, where, as Doug said, it's been predictably predictable with what's happened with them over the last time. Depressingly predictable. That's probably a better way. Mm-hmm. I think that, unless it's that, it's impossible to see what's going to happen. So to be fair, I could say that on paper, I don't think Hull are miles worse than, say, the likes of your Prestons or your Oxfords or, dare I say, your Stokes to a degree. But I think a lot of those clubs, with the exception, for example,
they have stability.
Okay, here's an example: Charlton, better run than Stoke. Oxford, to a degree, better run than Stoke. Portsmouth, better run than Stoke. Mm-hmm. Watford definitely aren't, to be fair. Sorry, better run than Hull. So I think there's some clubs that are just better managed than Hull. So I don't know why the fuck I've said Stoke. Right? Yeah, the point is the clubs I mentioned are better managed.
Stoke are shit too.
Yeah. Well, okay. Point is, I think clubs like, say, Portsmouth and Charlton, and to a degree Oxford, are probably better ran than Hull for me at the minute.
Yeah.
Agreed. Nathan, it's good imagine.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. I don't agree with Chris's comment. The latest one. Let's wait to play Leeds next season.
That's just Chris realizing that it's all about getting rid of you.
Yeah, no, he's always been like he's always had that for bloody
It's all right. I mean, they can come up, but the bigger question for them is if they come up, how long till Mavididi leaves?
Exactly.
Where's Ant when you need him?
Fair point.
I mean, that is true, Michael. He does not like Leeds, but then there's me.
Yeah. But I can deal with you because we like.
That's important. Yeah. That's important.
But when it comes to Leicester, that's another different kettle of fish there. So
hell yeah, brother, hell yeah.
Aye, absolutely.
Fun times, man.
You know what, gentlemen? We nearly to 2.25 hours, and nearly 3 hours actually.
I know that's that.
Do you know what?
I mean, I've now got to go and sit for another near 4 hours of watching shite telly.
You'll be watching the second half. Yeah, but watch a bit.
Don't even get me started on the first night. That first night is like.
No, I watched.
I'll say it nicely for anyone who's watching. Right, obviously, like, funnily enough, Big Dub Werner in the chat. He actually is a wrestling content creator. He's actually one of the biggest on YouTube. Right. So here's one that's absolutely entertaining. Right. If you're going to compare last night to what a disease, SummerSlam Night 1 is the syphilis of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Or polio, or tuberculosis. Like, you really need to get health checks. That is what SummerSlam is. SummerSlam is an infectious disease. Night 2, even though they've claimed to stack the deck, I still ain't confident. And it starts in 5 minutes. I'm not confident that it is going to be good. It's a shit fest.
It's why I've not been watching a lot till last
Good
night.
man.
I just because I've been going to bed so much earlier, and that's why before I'm not bothered to still watching WWE.
It's just simple facts. Like, why fucking bother? But I know I've got to for the sake of my channel. But it's fucking torture.
No, do you know what the thing is?
I thought waterboarding or getting like fingers chopped off or getting fingers torn back with pliers would be acceptable torture. But honestly, watching any form of WWE is the real incredible amount of torture. I would rather be waterboarded.
I know.
I'll put another weekly torture. We were playing Accrington Stanley in league football 3 years ago.
Oh, never mind. That's a clip. That's a clips. Never mind. Yeah, that's a clips.
And Cheltenham Town and AFC Wimbledon. If you want to go really depressing, before we beat Wickham in the League One playoff final, we were one loss away from playing Forest Green Rovers in League One.
Oh, if only you were.
Oh no, Forest Green Rovers away. Oh, what could go? How could this be any more depressing?
Free from 100 as well. Free from 100.
Yeah, come on, hit sub if you haven't already.
Yeah, yes, we are free away from 100 subscribers. Please do, because this will help me so much, as I'm now going to be doing a lot more content as well.
Yeah.
Actually, before the end of the show, I did say we were going to announce a new name of the new Premier League review, because there's actually 20 teams in the Premier League and then 72. we've decided to call the show the 20 because it is actually 20 teams competing in the Premier League. So basically, but we need some help to get some graphics and overlays sorted out. And I'm looking at a certain person on here that could help us if we're ahead of our launch.
Of course, I'll absolutely find. I'll find some time. I'll see what I can do, and I'll do something for it.
Reece, that way, got to thank you. And like I said, we are coming to the end of the show. Listen, I like to thank everyone who's been watching as well, and also, like I said, Doug said, we are free. We're from 100 subscribers. I appreciate people have subscribing while we've been on live for nearly 3 hours, and appreciate that. And like I said, you'll see most of these guys during the course of the season as well. I said our first game review, match day one review, next Sunday at 8 p.m. live here on the.
There's two to go.
Yep, we've got another one.
Hit that button.
Come on, I see the 16 people watching here. Come on, if 2 of you are not subscribed, hit the sub button.
Please do, yeah. Please,
and remember,
share it out as well too, because the more we get, the more content I can create in the long run as well, which would be good. And like I said, we'll be back on here every Sunday on 8 p.m. here on the Total League Home Football Podcast, doing our content. This will be also as well to, like Doug said, the 20, which is the new Premier League, it'll be on live on this channel and also on Doug's channel at the same time. So the more the merrier, try to grow our content as well. So that'd be huge. But like I said, you'll see Reece, you see Michael, you see Doug, you see Ant, you'll see Annie, who's going to be back as well during the season as well. So we're going to have more content every Sunday with the championship review during the course of the season. And also the Saturday show will be returning back around the first weekend of the Premier League fixtures as well. We'll be back around about 11 o'clock. So we'll be there for an hour and a half before the first early lunchtime kickoff ahead of that game on Saturday the 16th as well. Yeah. So we're back content. And like I said, please, I will put all of our guests' channels in the description, and please follow them as well too. If you like wrestling, please follow Reece at the Weekly Steel Chair. If you're a big Sunderland fan like Michael, please follow Michael Barrows as well too. And also, if you love Doug as well with his local content, follow Doug at the Dugout Football channel as well. And if you like Ad as well, you follow at LFC channel as well too. So yes, thank you to everyone who's watching. I'm now going to have a relaxed night. I'm going to go.
Relaxed night.
Hey,
relaxed night.
Hey, I know. Let's see how the first hour drags.
Tell you what, since it's actually starting right now, I'll actually check what the fucking first shitty match is going to be. Oh wait, never mind. They're going. Oh wait, never mind.
I'm not going to watch it first.
They'll do a 10-minute video package. Hold on, I will have a look right now, and I'll see what the first match is. Let's have a look. We already know what the main event's going to be, and I'll tell you now, it's going to fucking suck. Let's see. Have they actually put? I think actually. Hold on.
I've got here the first match order.
Yeah,
Naomi versus Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky.
So last night they didn't give a shit about women. Tonight they're putting them on first. So that says it all. If you are a woman employed by the WWE, please exit the stage left.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh god. They've had to announce earlier. Basically, exit stage left because they don't give a shit about women over there.
I've noticed it a lot more now than
I'm getting sick of that. Like, there's other things obviously about them that pisses me off even more, but it's they claim they've got the best women's divisions in the world, and they treat them like shit. Clearly, you don't. Then you can't make such a declarative statement and treat them like shit.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Exactly. Scam artists. Summer scam. Summer scam indeed.
It is, Reece. It is. Right, let's get off, call it a night, and yeah. As I said, I'll see you guys.
I'll message you throughout this show, mate.
You might as well do. Yeah, you might as well.
I fucking will.
Well done to those who stuck to the end of this stream.
Please do. Yeah, appreciate that.
And one last thing before you go. If you have not subscribed, then remember it's only will still going to be a subscribe button at the very end of the show. So will still going to get on the road because Southampton are going to will still not keep them employed. But I'm still going to say will still WWE fuck this show up. Yes, they fucking will.
Thank you, Reece.
I don't miss a beat.
You don't miss a beat at all.
And fuck the stripper clubs.
Yeah. Guys, we'll see you back next Sunday at 8 p.m. at hopefully at least an hour for and less than
the last weekend where me and Carl can be like just nice and objective and just like just enjoy things before the Prem starts.
Exactly.
We can review the first weekend of the Championship instead.
Yeah, absolutely. But
I'm looking forward to my club beating yours, home and away.
We'll see.
That'll be fine. That'll be when Amad Diallo gets sent off away at Sunderland because he absolutely loves it too much and wants to help us stay up. Because Man United,
he's hat trick, mate, hat trick.
What, of own goals? Oh, that's all right then.
No, he'll score a hat trick at the Stadium of Light against you, mate. We'll win 3-0. Yeah, we'll hat trick.
You know what? This is the show, guys. Have a good week. I'll see you guys next Sunday. Take it for now. Bye bye.